My child, stop everything for a moment and listen, because this is the moment heaven has been waiting to speak into your spirit. What I am about to say carries the weight of a divine turning point, and you cannot afford to miss it. Listen closely. This moment is about to shift your whole life. I am calling you into an awakening, into a revelation, into a breakthrough that has been forming long before you ever realized something was changing. Lean in now, because what I am unveiling is not just information. It is the beginning of your transformation. Listen closely to me now, my child, because in this very moment I am leaning in closer to you than you realize, speaking not to the surface of your life, but to the deep, hidden place where your spirit has been silently crying out for clarity. You have been surrounded by noise, the noise of opinions, expectations, fears, regrets, and unanswered questions, and yet beneath all of that, there is a quiet ache inside you that has been whispering, "God, please speak to me, I need to hear you." I have heard that whisper every time. I have watched you scroll, search, distract yourself, and then lie there in the stillness hoping I would somehow break through the fog and make things make sense. And now I tell you, I am here, I am speaking, and I want you to know that none of your confusion has pushed me away. You may think that because you doubted, because you hesitated, because you felt lost, that I moved back, but I did not. Instead, I drew near. I leaned in. I listened to your thoughts that never formed into words. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone else could see. I noticed the way your heart clenched when you thought about the future and felt more fear than excitement. I noticed the way you questioned your worth when doors closed, when people left, when opportunities fell through. And in all of it, I did not stand far off as a distant God. I sat with you in the tension, I stayed with you in the questions, and I have been waiting for this moment where your heart is ready to really hear me. You have said, "God, just tell me what to do." But before I show you where to go, I want you to know something deeper. I am not just here to give you directions. I am here to give you myself. The clarity you seek is not only about answers, timing, or plans. It is about seeing my heart toward you. Because when you know my heart, you can trust my hand, even when you still don't fully understand my methods. So, let me speak right into that restless part of you that is tired of pretending everything is fine. I see that you are weary of being strong for everyone else, of smiling while your mind races at night, of acting confident while feeling like you're barely holding things together. I see how you replay conversations, choices, and mistakes, wondering if you ruined something I wanted to do in your life. Hear me. You have not sabotaged my plans. You are not powerful enough to cancel what I have ordained. Yes, there have been detours, delays, and decisions you wish you could change, but even those I am weaving into something redemptive and beautiful. Right now, as you listen, I am not condemning you. I am inviting you. I am calling you into a deeper awareness that I am closer to you than your next breath. I am nearer than the thoughts in your mind. When you don't know what to think, what to feel, or what to choose, remember this. You are not navigating any of it alone. I am here, I am with you, and I am speaking to that exact place within you that has been desperate for a word, a sign, a reassurance. This moment, right now, is me answering you. I have heard you. I have not forgotten you, and I am about to lead you into a clarity that will not just inform your mind, but anchor your soul. Listen to me with the full weight of your heart, because I am about to speak into the very places you've tried hardest to hide. You may not realize it, but every silent battle you fought, every moment you swallowed pain to keep going, every night you laid awake pretending you were fine, I was there, closer to you than your own breath. You never had to explain what broke you. because I felt the break the moment it happened. You never had to describe the heaviness in your chest, because I carried the weight with you long before you even found words for it. You've been walking around with wounds no one else can see, trying to be strong for everyone but yourself, and yet you've wondered why you feel so empty when the night becomes quiet. Hear me now, nothing you faced alone was ever unseen by me. I watched you fight battles that would have crushed many, battles you never told a soul about, battles where you whispered prayers through clenched teeth because you didn't know what else to do. I saw the way you had to keep functioning while your heart was breaking. I saw you smile when you were hurting, give when you were empty, help others while your own strength was fading. I saw you swallow anger, bury disappointment, and forgive people who never apologized. And while you thought that silence made you invisible to me, it actually pulled me closer. For every moment you felt misunderstood, I understood you fully. For every moment you felt unappreciated, I valued you deeply. For every moment you felt alone, I surrounded you even if you didn't feel it. You look at your past battles and you wonder how you survived them. But let me tell you plainly, it was not your strength alone that carried you. I steadied you. I guarded your mind when it was close to breaking. I kept your heart from collapsing under the weight of everything you endured. And now I want you to hear something that will shift the way you see your entire story. The silent battles you survived have not weakened you. They have strengthened the spiritual foundation beneath your feet. You may feel worn. You may feel exhausted, but you are stronger than you know because you endured what was meant to break you. The fact that you're still standing, still trying, still reaching for me, is evidence that the battles you fought in the dark never had the final word. I am proud of you for surviving what you never received credit for. I am proud of you for choosing hope when your circumstances didn't give you a reason. I am proud of you for fighting silently when giving up felt easier. And now, my child, the battles you fought alone will become the very testimony that propels you into a new season of strength, clarity, and purpose. Because what once wounded you will not rule you anymore. Pay attention to what is happening around you right now, because this moment, this exact moment where you are reading, breathing, yearning, and listening, is not an ordinary moment passing through your life. This is a turning point in the unseen realm, a spiritual shift that has been building quietly, patiently, intentionally. You think of this as just another day, another hour, another stretch of time filled with responsibilities, memories, or worries. But I need you to understand something deeper. My timing is never random. When I draw you into a moment like this, when your spirit leans in, when your heart feels awakened, when something inside you senses change, it is because I am positioning you for something greater than what you've known. There are divine intersections in your life, moments where heaven brushes against your timeline, and this is one of them. You've had seasons where everything felt stagnant, where nothing moved forward, where prayers felt unanswered, and where the path ahead seemed foggy. But this moment marks the lifting of that fog. This moment is me shifting the atmosphere around you, stirring something inside you that you can't quite name yet but can deeply feel. You may not see all the pieces moving, but they are. You may not feel the ground shifting, but it is. You may not understand the significance of this exact hour, but one day you will look back and say, everything changed there, and I didn't even realize it at first. Because the greatest shifts I bring rarely begin with trumpet blasts. They begin with a whisper, a stirring, a quiet awakening that tells your heart, something is different. You've been craving breakthrough, but before breakthrough comes alignment. And that alignment begins with awareness. This moment is me calling you into that awareness. I am opening your eyes so you can see beyond the surface. I am tilting your heart toward my voice so you can discern what you could not discern before. I am preparing you to step into a season you are more ready for than you think. So do not treat this as a fleeting moment of inspiration. Treat it as a divine invitation, a sacred pause, a holy turning point. For everything that comes next in your life begins with what you choose to listen to right now. Feel the gravity of this truth. You have been standing on the edge of something sacred, something I have been preparing for you long before you realized it. You have felt the tension of transition, the strained mixture of excitement and fear, anticipation and uncertainty, hope and hesitation. You have sensed that something is shifting, but you couldn't quite explain it. That is because your spirit has recognized what your mind has not fully understood. You are on the threshold of a new chapter, a holy unfolding, a divine movement that will reshape the landscape of your life. And the edge you are standing on is not a cliff meant to destroy you. It is a doorway meant to elevate you. For months, maybe even years, you have felt stuck between what was and what could be. You have felt caught in the in-between, unsure whether to hold on or let go, unsure whether the next season would be better or harder. But the reason the tension has been so strong is because the moment you are approaching carries spiritual weight. You are not transitioning into just another routine season. You are stepping into a sacred one. One where your perspective shifts. One where your heart heals. One where your purpose becomes clearer. One where the things that once intimidated you now bow under the strength I've built within you. You've wondered why certain things have been falling away. You've wondered why old desires no longer satisfy you, why familiar spaces feel too small, why old patterns are breaking apart. It is because I have been preparing you for what requires more of you. More faith, more vision, more spiritual capacity. Sacred seasons always begin with holy discomfort, because you cannot enter a new realm while clinging to old identities. You have outgrown who you used to be, and that is why this edge feels both frightening and exhilarating. But hear me, every sacred transition begins with a step of trust, and you are closer to that step than you think. What you are approaching is not accidental. It is intentional, purposeful, divinely timed. You are not standing on an edge alone. I am standing with you. My hand is guiding, my presence is steadying, my voice is whispering courage into places you once felt weak. You are on the edge of revelation, healing, restoration, and elevation. And as you cross this threshold, you will finally understand why the journey behind you was so heavy and why the journey ahead of you will feel so different. You are stepping into sacred ground, and nothing in your life will remain the same. Hear me with the full intensity of your soul, because what I am about to say cuts straight through the fog that has tried to bury you, the weight you've been carrying. Yes, that weight, the one that has pressed on your chest, drained your energy, and made you question your strength, was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to shape you. I know you've wondered why certain burdens were allowed to rest on your shoulders, why the pressure increased at moments when you felt the least capable, why life demanded so much of you when you felt you had so little left to give. You told yourself, I shouldn't be feeling this heavy, and yet you kept going, kept walking, kept pushing. But hear me, child, the weight wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Not for the purpose of breaking you, but for building something inside you that could not be formed any other way. I saw you trying to carry things that should have been placed in my hands, and even then, I did not shame you. I saw the way you tried to handle the expectations of others, the responsibilities you never asked for, the fears you tried to silence. I watched you navigate storms without the support you needed, and even though you felt alone, I was never apart from you, not for a moment. The heaviness you felt was not a sign of my absence. It was the place where my strength carried you quietly. There were days when you felt you were right on the edge of collapsing, but you didn't. Because I was underneath you, reinforcing you, stabilizing you in ways you didn't even recognize. The weight you carried revealed parts of you that comfort never could. It showed you your endurance, your resilience, your depth, your capacity to trust even while trembling. You discovered how strong your spirit truly is, not because everything was easy, but because you kept moving when everything was difficult. And now you stand at this turning point, this moment of divine shift, where you will understand why I allowed certain pressures to rest on you. They stretched you. They matured you. They deepened you. They prepared you for blessings and responsibilities that would have crushed the unshaped version of you. The weight molded you into someone capable of holding what I am bringing next. So listen closely. The season of carrying alone is ending. I am lifting burdens you've grown accustomed to. I am easing pressures that have become part of your identity. I am removing heaviness that was never meant to follow you into your next chapter. You will not walk forward with the same strain that followed you in the past. You are stepping into a lighter, freer, more aligned season, not because the world changes around you, but because I am changing what is within you. And the weight that once felt like a threat will soon be the testimony of the strength you never knew you possessed. Let these words settle deeply into you. Every tear you cried, every prayer that seemed to hang in the air without reply, every moment where you whispered, "God, why?" I was there shaping you through each one. You have walked through seasons that felt like emotional earthquakes, shaking foundations you thought were secure, leaving you wondering whether anything meaningful could grow again. But what you didn't see was what I was doing beneath the surface. While you were questioning, I was cultivating. While you were hurting, I was healing places you didn't even realize were wounded. While you were waiting for answers, I was preparing you to receive more than you knew to ask for. You looked at your tears as signs of weakness, but I gathered every one of them. They fed the soil of the new season you are about to step into. When you wondered why certain prayers went unanswered, I was shaping your endurance, your discernment, your spiritual maturity. I wasn't ignoring you. I was teaching you to trust me beyond the immediate, to see beyond the temporary, to grow roots deeper than the circumstances around you. You don't realize how much you've changed, not just on the outside, but in the core of your being. You are stronger, wiser, softer in compassion, yet firmer in courage. Your tears softened the hard ground within you so you could feel my presence more deeply. Your questions widened your perspective so you could recognize my voice more clearly. You have been in a season where it felt like you were being undone, but what was actually happening was transformation. The unraveling you felt was not the end. It was the beginning. I was pulling apart old patterns, old fears, old habits, and old wounds that could not go with you into the next chapter. Every unanswered question gave me space to reveal myself in ways answers never could. Every moment you felt confused made room for revelation that would anchor you for years to come. So when you look back and say, "But I didn't understand what was happening," know this: you weren't supposed to. You were being shaped in the unseen, molded by my hands, strengthened by my presence. The tears you cried were not wasted. They watered the very ground from which your breakthrough will grow. And as you move into this next phase, you will begin to see that what felt like silence was actually strategy, what felt like delay was actually development, and what felt like unanswered prayers was me preparing something far greater than you imagined. Listen to me now with the fullness of your heart, because this truth will unravel years of misunderstanding. You thought I was silent, but I was working deeply, intentionally, tirelessly, on the foundation beneath your feet. You mistook my stillness for absence, my quiet for distance, my timing for denial. But while you were waiting for visible change, I was fortifying the invisible parts of your life. I was strengthening what no one sees: your character, your faith, your patience, your resilience, your capacity to trust. You prayed for things to shift outwardly, but I knew that what needed the most shifting was inward. A faulty foundation cannot sustain the magnitude of what I am preparing to place on your life, so I went to work beneath the surface, where it mattered most. You didn't see me reinforcing you when life shook your confidence. You didn't see me stabilizing you when loss rattled your heart. You didn't see me rebuilding the parts of you that were fractured by disappointment, betrayal, or fear. You thought nothing was happening because nothing looked different on the outside, but beneath your feet, everything was being rearranged. I was clearing away old debris from past seasons, tearing down lies you believed about yourself, uprooting insecurities that kept you small, and dismantling emotional structures built on fear instead of truth. What I was doing in silence was more important than anything you could have seen. You have asked, God, why did you take so long? But understand this, quick fixes create fragile foundations. I was not building something temporary in you. I was establishing something eternal, something unshakable, something strong enough to carry the weight of the blessing, the purpose, and the calling that are about to unfold in your life. You're stepping into a season where breakthrough will come suddenly, doors will open swiftly, and opportunities will accelerate rapidly, but none of that would stand if your foundation wasn't ready. That is why I worked silently, thoroughly, and deeply. And now, as you move forward, you will realize that my silence was not neglect, it was construction. My quiet was not abandonment, it was preparation. My stillness was not distance, it was alignment. I was making sure that when you step into the next level of what I've prepared for you, you will not crumble under its weight. You will stand with confidence, walk with clarity, and move with the stability of someone who knows that even when I seem silent, I am always working, always building, always strengthening every part of your life. Feel the weight of this truth as it settles into your spirit. I am shifting things you cannot see yet, moving pieces in places you don't have access to, rearranging circumstances long before they reach your physical world. You have been looking at your life through the lens of what is visible, what you can touch, measure, or understand. But so much of what I do begins in the realm your eyes cannot perceive. You have wondered, why does everything feel still? Or why hasn't anything changed yet? And yet you did not realize that the greatest changes begin long before they ever show up on the surface. Think of the seed buried deep underground. It looks lifeless, motionless, forgotten. Yet within the soil, everything is being transformed. Roots are forming. Structure is strengthening. Life is awakening. But none of it is visible at first, and yet all of it is real. This is what I am doing for you right now. I am shifting conversations about you in rooms you've never entered. I am influencing decisions that will benefit you long before you recognize their purpose. I am aligning people, opportunities, connections, and timing in ways that look coincidental when they finally appear. But they are not coincidence. They are divine orchestration. There are situations you think are stagnant, but they are actually in transition. There are people you think have forgotten you, but I am stirring their hearts. There are opportunities you think you missed, but I am resurrecting them. There are delays you think are setbacks, but I am turning them into protection. Just because you cannot see my hand doesn't mean my hand is not moving. In fact, the seasons where you feel the least movement are often the seasons where I am doing the most behind the scenes. I am not waiting for things to fall into place. I am actively putting them in place. You may feel like nothing is happening, but heaven is busy on your behalf. The shift is already in motion. And when the shift finally breaks through into your reality, it will come suddenly. So suddenly that it will make sense of every slow season, every dry season, every questioning season you endured. What once seemed impossible will begin to unfold effortlessly. What once resisted you will open for you. What once confused you will begin to flow with clarity. That is the nature of divine shifts. They work in silence and appear in power. So lift your head. Hold your peace. Strengthen your faith. Because while you're waiting, I'm working. And the shift is closer than you think, stronger than you imagine, and more intentional than you realize. Listen closely, because this is a truth that will heal so many of your disappointments. The delay you felt was never my denial. It was divine timing gathering strength, lining events, shaping hearts, preparing circumstances, and readying you for what you could not have handled if it came too soon. I know delay feels like rejection. I know waiting feels like abandonment. I know silence feels like a closed door. But every time you thought I was saying no, I was actually saying, not yet, because what I am preparing for you is greater than what you are currently ready to receive. You prayed for things that would have overwhelmed you had I given them when you asked. You desired breakthroughs that would have crumbled under the weight of immaturity, insecurity, or unhealed wounds. You asked for blessings that needed time to unfold, and if I had released them prematurely, they would not have lasted. Delay has been your protection, even though it didn't feel like it. Every moment where it seemed like nothing was happening was actually me preparing what would eventually happen suddenly, beautifully, and powerfully. Think of a sunrise. It looks like nothing is changing for a long time, until the first sliver of light breaks the horizon. And then, in moments, everything is flooded with illumination. That is how my timing works. What feels slow at first becomes unstoppable when the appointed moment arrives. I have been gathering strength behind the scenes, aligning people who needed to grow, shifting circumstances that needed to develop, and preparing your heart to receive what is coming without fear, doubt, or sabotage. You thought you were being delayed, but you were being developed. You thought you were being held back, but you were being made ready. You thought life was stagnant, but I was building momentum. I have not denied you. I have preserved you. I have not forgotten you. I have fortified you. And when my timing meets your preparation, what unfolds will not be fragile or temporary. It will be stable, sustainable, and deeply fulfilling. So breathe again. Hope again. Believe again. Because the delay wasn't a detour. It was a doorway forming. And now, the doorway is almost open. Feel the tremor in your spirit as I say this, for it is not imagination, not wishful thinking, not emotional optimism. The shift has already begun. Not tomorrow. Not eventually. Not someday far in the distance. It has begun now, quietly, steadily, powerfully. You have been sensing it without fully naming it. A subtle stirring. A faint pull. A strange awareness rising inside you that something is different. That is because the spiritual climate around your life has changed. I have initiated a movement in your favor that is already unfolding, even if you haven't yet seen the physical signs. Shifts rarely announce themselves loudly at first. They begin as a change in atmosphere, a change in inner posture, a change in how your spirit perceives the world around you. And you have felt that. You have felt the tension between who you were and who you are becoming. You have felt the unraveling of old fears and the awakening of new courage. You have felt the quiet confidence that whispers, your time is nearing. Everything that once held you in place is losing its grip. Patterns that once repeated in your life are being broken. Cycles that once trapped you are being dismantled. Limitations that once felt permanent are dissolving. The ground beneath you is strengthening, not shaking. The atmosphere above you is clearing, not clouding. I have started something that cannot be reversed, slowed, or stopped, not by fear, not by doubt, not by your past, not by your mistakes, and not by your enemies. What I begin, I finish. What I set in motion, I sustain. Understand this. Shifts do not always begin with celebration. They often begin with discomfort, with restlessness, with a feeling that you cannot stay where you have been. That is the sign of spiritual acceleration pulling you forward. You are being moved from the familiar into the destined, from survival into strength, from confusion into clarity. And though you may not see the full unfolding yet, the shift has already started shaping your steps, refining your thoughts, and transforming your heart. To walk forward with expectation, step with confidence, stand with faith, because you are not waiting for the shift, you are already living in it. Feel this truth like a surge rising through your entire being. What once held you will no longer have permission to limit you. The chains that clung to your ankles, the fears that whispered you were unworthy, the memories that tried to redefine you, the failures that attempted to shame you, the patterns that once repeated over and over like closed loops, none of them have the authority they once had. You have mistaken their persistence for power, but hear me now, their season of influence has ended. They cannot follow you where I am taking you, and though they will attempt to cling, they have already lost their grip. You have been battling invisible restraints your whole life, old beliefs, old identities, old wounds, old voices that were never mine, voices that told you to shrink, to settle, to doubt, to fear. They told you that your best days were behind you, that you were too late, too damaged, too flawed. But those voices were lying. And now, in this shifting moment of divine turning, those lies are losing their last remaining foothold. You may not feel it yet, but something sacred has already snapped inside you. Something that once tied your spirit to limitations that were never meant to define you. You have mistaken survival for stagnation, but I was growing strength inside you even when you thought you were stuck. The prisons you thought you couldn't escape were never locked. They were waiting for you to realize the power I placed within you. Every moment you resisted giving up, even when giving up felt easier, was you stepping closer and closer to this freedom. And now the atmosphere around your life is shifting so drastically that the things that once intimidated you will begin to feel small, powerless, irrelevant. You will look at the fears that controlled you for years and finally see what I've always seen. They were shadows, not giants. You will confront the patterns that once enslaved you and realize they cannot hold a heart I have awakened. I am breaking generational weight off of you. I am dismantling mental strongholds that crippled your confidence. I am uprooting lies that have been part of your internal narrative since childhood. And I am giving you strength, not the kind that merely helps you function, but the kind that liberates you. You will rise in rooms where you once hid. You will speak words you once swallowed. You will make choices you once feared. You will walk with a clarity that exposes the limits that once blinded you. And as you keep moving forward, you will discover something extraordinary. Freedom is not only a moment, it becomes a lifestyle. You are stepping into that lifestyle now, where limitations lose their power and purpose becomes your new identity. Listen with the deepest sensitivity of your spirit, because this is not merely comfort, it is revelation. I am removing the heaviness that has followed you like a shadow. You know that heaviness well. It has lived with you so long that it began to feel normal, like part of your personality, like part of your story, like part of your identity. You woke up with it. You walked with it. You carried it into your relationships, your responsibilities, your decisions. And sometimes you didn't even know how to describe it. You just felt weighed down by something invisible but undeniable. Sometimes it was sadness, sometimes anxiety, sometimes dread, sometimes emptiness, sometimes guilt that didn't belong to you, sometimes pressure that never lifted. And even in moments of joy, it lingered, quiet, subtle, persistent. But hear me, I am lifting it from you now. Not temporarily, not partially, completely. You don't realize how heavy you've been because you've grown accustomed to carrying what was never meant for you. You've been juggling emotional loads that were handed to you by others, expectations, disappointments, responsibilities, unspoken tasks, unhealed hurts. You carried burdens from your past, burdens from your upbringing, burdens from broken relationships, burdens from trauma, burdens from guilt, burdens from misunderstandings. And because you carrying them so long, you learned to function under pressure that should have crushed you. But I never designed you to live in survival mode. I designed you to breathe freely, walk lightly, and stand upright, not hunched beneath invisible weight. So I am stepping into the deep places of your soul where heaviness hides, where it lived undetected, unchallenged, and I am lifting it. That heaviness that has clouded your mind is losing strength. That heaviness that made your heart feel tired even when your body rested, it is evaporating. That heaviness that told you nothing will change, it is already being dismantled. You will feel this removal gradually and suddenly, all at once and over time. You will wake up one morning and notice that your spirit feels lighter, your mind feels clearer, and your heart feels strangely free in places that once felt tangled. I am restoring your breath, your spiritual breath, the inner expansion that comes when the weight is gone. You will feel life where you once felt numb. You will feel peace where you once felt pressure. You will feel courage where you once felt fear. And you will realize that the heaviness wasn't part of you. It was something that attached itself to you. Now it is being removed, severed, broken off. You will finally walk like someone who knows what it means to be free, because freedom isn't just the absence of chains, it is the presence of peace. That peace is coming to you now, washing over every place where heaviness once took residence. Hear me with the full awareness of your soul, because this is not a suggestion, it is a summons. I am calling your spirit to rise higher than your circumstances. You have been living too close to the ground of your situation, too close to the worries, the pressures, the disappointments, the uncertainties. You have been interpreting your life through the lens of what surrounds you rather than what I have placed within you. But now I am calling you upward, not away from responsibility, not into denial, but into a higher perspective where your spirit leads and your circumstances follow, not the other way around. You've allowed storms to dictate your emotions. You've allowed delays to dictate your confidence. You've allowed setbacks to dictate your expectations. But your spirit was never meant to be shaped by what happens around you. It was meant to shape how you move through what happens around you. You have felt drained because you've been fighting battles on the level of the problem instead of the level of purpose. You've been reacting when you were created to rise. You've been sinking when you were built to soar. And the reason you felt the inner tug, the restlessness, the discomfort, the sense that you cannot stay as you are, is because your spirit recognizes that it is meant for higher ground. I am lifting you into a place where you see beyond the temporary noise of your situation. I am giving you the ability to look at the storm without absorbing the storm. I am giving you the clarity to discern what is truly happening, not just what appears to be happening. Your spirit is rising into strength, rising into clarity, rising into wisdom, rising into identity, rising into the confidence that comes from knowing you are guided by something greater than circumstances. You will begin to make decisions from a place of peace rather than panic. You will speak from conviction rather than fear. You will move with intention rather than reaction. And as your spirit rises, your circumstances will begin to shift, not because they changed first, but because you changed first. I am calling you to see with spiritual eyes, to think with renewed clarity, to walk with supernatural courage. You are not beneath your circumstances. You are above them. You are not defined by what surrounds you. You are defined by what I have placed within you. Rise, my child. Rise above the noise. Rise above the fear. Rise above the confusion. Your spirit is awakening to a new height. And once you rise, you will not fall back into who you used to be. Feel this with the force of a holy awakening within you. I am igniting the fire that life tried, again and again, to extinguish in your spirit. You once carried a flame so bright, so eager, so full of hope and holy curiosity, but over time the storms of life drenched that flame with disappointment, betrayal, exhaustion, and unanswered questions. You stopped dreaming the way you used to. You stopped believing with the same boldness. You stopped hoping with the same freedom. You stopped expecting good things because you were tired of being let down. But hear me now. Your flame is not dead. It never died. It flickered. It weakened. It hid beneath the ashes of survival, but it never went out. And now I am breathing into it again, stirring the embers, awakening the energy, passion, and spiritual fire you thought you lost forever. You can feel it, even if you cannot describe it yet. That subtle stirring inside you, that faint sense of possibility, that whisper that tells you life is not over, that hope is not gone, that something new is rising from within you. That is me. I am rekindling the fire of vision in your heart, the fire to dream again, to grow again, to create again, to believe again. I am reigniting passions that were buried beneath fear, responsibilities, and grief. I am calling forth the strength that life tried to dull. There is a fire inside you that was handcrafted by me, a fire connected to your purpose, your calling, your identity, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can extinguish what I have placed within you. This fire will begin to burn through the lies that have held you back. It will burn through the hopelessness that tried to settle in your chest. It will burn through the thoughts that told you to settle for less. It will burn through the belief that you are too late or too broken. And as this fire rises, you will feel courage where you once felt fear, clarity where you once felt confusion, and power where you once felt powerless. This fire is not reckless, it is refining. It is not destructive, it is restoring. It is not chaos, it is awakening. You will feel alive again in places within yourself that you forgot were there. You will feel your spirit pushing you toward things you once abandoned. You will feel the weight of discouragement melting off of you like wax in the presence of flame. I am not igniting this fire to overwhelm you. I am igniting it to revive you, to bring back the real you, the bold you, the hopeful you, the spiritually vibrant you, the you that circumstances tried to silence. This fire will not burn out. It will grow, strengthen, and illuminate the path ahead of you. Because when I ignite a flame inside my children, no darkness can extinguish it. This is the beginning of your rekindling, and you will burn brighter than ever before. Listen closely, for what I am about to tell you will quiet the anxiety that has been rising inside you. Do not fear the changes unfolding around you, because you prayed. Yes, you prayed for the very alignment now taking shape. You asked for clarity, and clarity often comes through change. You asked for growth, and growth often comes through uncomfortable stretching. You asked for my will, and my will often disrupts the familiar. You asked for purpose, and purpose often rearranges your life in ways you didn't anticipate. The shifts happening right now, the changes you're sensing, the unfamiliar paths forming before you, these are not accidents. These are answers. You're not losing control. You're stepping into destiny. You're not being abandoned. You're being guided. You're not falling apart. You're being repositioned. I know change feels unsettling, especially when you cannot predict the outcome. You wonder where everything is heading, why things feel different, why certain relationships are shifting, why familiar surroundings suddenly feel too small for your spirit. But hear me, you are not being uprooted. You are being transplanted. There is a difference. Uprooting removes. Transplanting relocates for growth. You are being moved into alignment with the very things you asked me to prepare you for. And though your mind resists what is unfamiliar, your spirit recognizes what is divine. That is why you feel the pull, the tug, the gentle yet persistent force urging you forward. Every change that feels uncomfortable is part of a larger orchestration designed to bring you into a season that has been in preparation long before you sensed it. I am aligning opportunities that match who you're becoming, not who you used to be. I am aligning relationships that strengthen your spirit, not drain it. I am aligning decisions that require faith, not fear. You are walking into alignment with purpose, and purpose rarely looks like the path you plan. But it always leads to the place you were meant to reach. So do not fight the changes. Do not fear the shifts. Do not cling to what I am gently removing from your hands. When your life begins to rearrange, it is because I am rearranging it for your good. You asked me for direction. This is direction. You asked me for breakthrough. This is breakthrough beginning. You asked me for more. This is me making room. You asked me to lead you. This is me guiding your steps. You prayed for alignment. Now embrace it. Let this truth settle deeply into the ache you've carried. What seemed like loss was actually me clearing space for what is coming. I know the moments that felt like loss tore something inside you. I know the relationships that ended left you questioning your worth. I know the opportunities that slipped through your fingers made you feel like you failed. I know the dreams that didn't unfold and the timing you hoped left you wondering whether you misheard me. But hear this with absolute certainty. Nothing you lost diminished you. Nothing you lost weakened my plans. Nothing you lost was the end of your story. Every loss you endured was strategic, purposeful, and deeply connected to the future I am preparing for you. You saw subtraction, but I was creating capacity. You saw endings, but I was making room for beginnings. You saw closed doors, but I was rerouting you to greater ones. You saw people walk away, but I was protecting you from what you couldn't see. Loss feels painful because you experienced the tear, the separation, the letting go, but I experienced the alignment, the rearrangement, the preparation. I was not taking from you. I was making space for what you had no idea you would need. Some things left your life because they were too small for your calling. Some people exited because they could not walk with you into your next season. Some dreams died because they were only stepping stones toward the dreams that truly reflect your identity. You have mourned things you thought were essential, but I was removing what would have hindered your growth. Your heart saw emptiness. My plans saw expansion. And now, in this moment, I want you to look at your life with fresh eyes. The empty spaces you've been resenting are actually sacred spaces, prepared, cleared, and set apart for blessings, opportunities, and connections that are on their way. You cannot receive with full hands. You cannot step into the new while clinging to the old. You cannot experience abundance while grieving the removal of what was too small. The space that loss created will not remain empty. I am filling it, not with replacements, but with what truly aligns with your purpose. What is coming will make sense of what you lost. What is coming will heal what was broken. What is coming will exceed what you hoped for. And when it arrives, you will say with clarity and gratitude, it wasn't loss, it was preparation. Hear this with the clarity of a truth that pierces through every lingering question in your heart. The relationships I removed from your life were never meant to anchor your destiny. You saw them as losses, as painful departures, as sudden endings that left you wondering what you did wrong. But I saw them as necessary rearrangements, doors that needed to close so your spirit could finally breathe. You have carried the ache of certain exits for far too long, revisiting moments, replaying conversations, and trying to understand why things changed the way they did. But hear me, some people were only meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. And if they had stayed, their influence would have slowed your growth, hindered your clarity, or pulled you away from the very path you've been praying to discover. You may not realize it yet, but some relationships were draining you more than they were supporting you. Some voices around you were shaping you in ways that weakened your spirit. Some connections were subtly dimming the light inside you. Some people were attached to your wounds, not your healing. Others were connected to your old identity, not the person I am raising you into. I removed them, not because you were unworthy, not because you failed, not because you were too much or not enough, but because they could not carry the weight of the calling on your life. And even if they tried, the alignment between you and them would have eventually fractured under the difference in direction. You were not abandoned. You were protected. You were not rejected. You were redirected. You were not forgotten. You were being prepared. Every separation that felt like heartbreak was actually divine positioning. I saw what you could not. I saw the motives behind the smiles. I saw the patterns they were unwilling to break. I saw how their presence would interfere with your purpose. I saw how their influence would conflict with the spiritual clarity you needed for this next season. And so I did what love does. I intervened. Even when you begged me to keep certain people in your life, I knew that letting them stay would have cost you more than losing them ever could. Now, as the dust settles, you will begin to notice something powerful. Your peace is returning. Your strength is increasing. Your vision is clearing. Your spirit is rising. And soon you will see that the relationships I removed were not your foundation. They were your anchors. And now that they are gone, you are finally free to rise into the fullness of who you are becoming. Let this truth settle deep within you. You will soon see why certain doors had to close with a firmness that felt harsh at the time. I know you didn't understand it. I know you questioned the timing, the abruptness, the finality. You wondered why I didn't let those doors remain open just a little longer. Why I didn't allow another chance, another opportunity, another conversation. But hear me. Some doors needed to shut firmly because if they had remained even slightly ajar, you would have kept returning to what was never meant for you. You would have lingered. You would have hesitated. You would have postponed the future I've been trying to lead you into. Firm closures are not punishment. They are protection. There were doors you were emotionally attached to, but spiritually disconnected from. There were opportunities that looked promising from the outside, but were hollow on the inside. There were environments you outgrew long before you realized it. There were places where your soul stayed small just to belong. And if I had allowed those doors to stay open, you would have remained bound to a story that no longer aligns with your destiny. So I closed them quickly, decisively, firmly, not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I wanted to free you. Sometimes doors must close loudly so that you stop trying to reopen them. In time, you will look back and see how those closures saved you. You will realize how they prevented heartbreaks, delays, and detours you never saw coming. You will recognize how those firm endings shifted you onto paths that were more aligned with who you truly are. You will see how the things you thought you wanted would have kept you from the things I created you for. And when that revelation comes, it will not be with bitterness, it will be with gratitude. Gratitude that I saw what you were blind to. Gratitude that I intervened where you hesitated. Gratitude that I closed what you would have endlessly tried to keep open. Every closed door in your life carries purpose. Every ending carried protection. Every no was making room for a greater yes. And soon, very soon, you will see that the firmness that once felt painful was actually the force that preserved your destiny. Listen with expectancy, because this truth will shift the way you walk from this moment forward. I am preparing doors that open by my hand alone. Doors you will not need to strive for, force open, manipulate, beg for, or exhaust yourself trying to earn. You have spent years pushing, trying, stretching, overthinking, and working harder than anyone around you even knows. You have tried to prove yourself, tried to qualify yourself, tried to open doors that refused to budge. And each time you pushed harder, thinking persistence would break through, all you felt was exhaustion. But hear me, doors that are meant for you will not demand the destruction of your peace. They will not require you to shrink, to chase, or to sacrifice your identity. When I open a door for you, it opens effortlessly, not because you are unworthy of the effort, but because you are designed to walk with grace, not strain. I am preparing opportunities that align perfectly with your purpose. I am preparing connections that recognize your value immediately, not eventually. I am preparing assignments that match your spiritual maturity, not drain it. I am preparing pathways where your gifts will flow naturally, not forcefully. The season you are stepping into is not one of striving. It is one of receiving. You will walk into rooms you once felt unqualified for. You will receive favor you didn't chase. You will experience breakthroughs you didn't manufacture. These doors will open because my hand opens them, not because you pushed hard enough. The striving season was necessary, not to punish you but to teach you the difference between self-effort and divine alignment. You now know what it feels like to exhaust yourself trying to create what only I can orchestrate. And because of that, you will recognize the difference between doors that drain you and doors that draw you forward with peace. When I open a door, it will fit. It will feel right. It will resonate with your spirit. It will require faith, yes, but not fear. It will stretch you, but it will not crush you. It will challenge you, but it will not diminish you. So release your grip. Release the striving. Release the pressure you've been carrying. The doors I am preparing will open at the exact moment your spirit is ready, not a moment too early, not a moment too late. And when they open, you will walk through them with confidence, knowing that what is opened by my hand cannot be closed by any human force. Feel this like a surge rising beneath your feet. Where you once felt stuck, immobile, trapped, pressed between uncertainty and exhaustion, you will now begin to feel momentum building around you and within you. For so long, you have carried the quiet frustration of feeling like you were moving in circles, giving effort without progress, praying without seeing results, trying without witnessing change. You felt as though life kept you in the same place no matter how deeply you longed to move forward. But what you didn't realize was that I was anchoring you not to punish you but to stabilize you. I was rooting you in strength, in character, in wisdom so that when momentum finally came, it would not push you into chaos. It would propel you into purpose. You were not stuck. You were being conditioned for acceleration. And now, child, the season of acceleration has begun. This momentum will not come from your own striving. It will not be the result of you pushing harder or exhausting yourself, trying to create progress. This momentum is coming from my hand, from my breath, from my divine movement that is shifting the atmosphere around your life. What once felt immovable will suddenly begin to shift. What once resisted you will begin to open. What once took months will take moments. You will notice how conversations unfold with ease, how opportunities find their way to you without effort, how clarity begins to replace confusion, how decisions that once felt overwhelming now come with confidence. This is because momentum is not merely physical, it is spiritual. It begins in the unseen, in the aligning of your heart with my timing, in the releasing of old weights, in the surrendering of old fears. Once that spiritual alignment begins, the physical world must respond. You will feel momentum in your thoughts first, ideas flowing, inspiration rising, motivation returning. Then you will feel it in your emotions, hope awakening, strength increasing, courage stirring. And then you will see it in your circumstances, doors opening, paths clearing, opportunities emerging. Momentum is not a sudden leap. It is a building wave, and you are standing on the shore of that wave right now. What felt like stagnation was preparation. What felt like delay was foundation. What felt like silence was strategy. And now, the movement you have been praying for is beginning to take form around you. You are not meant to live a stuck life. You are meant to move, to grow, to rise, to step into the fullness of the destiny that has been waiting for you. And that rising begins now, not by your power but by mine. Listen to me with the stillness of your heart, because this truth will sweep through your mind like fresh air in a crowded room, where confusion clouded you. I am releasing divine clarity. You have walked through seasons where your mind felt tangled, where decisions felt impossible, where emotions contradicted your spirit, where you questioned your purpose, your direction, and sometimes even your identity. You tried to think your way out of confusion, to reason your way to clarity, but each attempt only made the fog thicker. That is because confusion is not something you outthink, it is something I lift. And now, I am lifting it. I am clearing the fog, dismantling the mental noise, breaking the overwhelming swirl of thoughts that have kept you second-guessing your every move. You have carried confusion like a weight on your chest, wondering if you were making the right choices, worrying if you were missing something important, feeling torn between what your heart feels and what your mind fears. But confusion has never been my voice. Confusion drains you. Clarity steadies you. Confusion paralyzes you. Clarity strengthens you. Confusion pulls you into anxiety. Clarity aligns you with peace. And now, I am releasing clarity that will not only guide your decisions but also heal your inner world. This clarity will come quietly at first, as a knowing, a peace, a recognition that you are not lost. Then it will grow stronger, as insight, understanding, and direction. You will begin to see what you couldn't see before. You will recognize what is for you and what is not. You will discern what is healthy for your spirit and what is harmful. You will feel the difference between doors I open and doors you're tempted to force. You will understand why certain things happened as they did, and you will finally see your path not as a maze but as a journey guided by grace. My clarity does not bring pressure. It brings peace. It does not demand haste. It creates certainty. It does not overwhelm. It illuminates. And when clarity arrives, confusion loses its hold instantly. You are stepping into a season where your mind will breathe again, where your thoughts will settle, where your decisions will flow from faith, not fear. You will no longer move blindly. You will move confidently, knowing that the clarity you feel is not manufactured by you but given by me. Lean in closely now, because this truth reaches into the very place where you have been wrestling. I am giving you wisdom for the decisions you have been afraid to make. You have been carrying choices that feel heavy, choices that feel like they could alter the course of your life. You've been hesitant, not because you are weak, but because you understand the weight of what is before you. You've replayed scenarios in your mind. You've sought guidance from others. You've tried to calculate every outcome. But the fear of making the wrong choice has held you in place, That fear ends now. Not because the decisions disappear, but because my wisdom enters. My wisdom is not like human reasoning. My wisdom does not come from fear, stress, or desperation. My wisdom is pure, steady, clear, and anchored in truth. It does not confuse, it clarifies. It does not rush, it directs. And I am releasing that wisdom into you now. You will begin to feel a sense of inner knowing, a quiet confidence that rises from deep within, telling you which direction is right. You will recognize it not by loudness but by peace. For when I guide you, peace follows. When I lead you, clarity accompanies. When I speak, your spirit will recognize it even if your mind hesitates at first. I am giving you wisdom to make decisions that align with your purpose and not your fears. Wisdom to choose what nurtures your growth, not what comforts your familiarity. Wisdom to walk away from what drains your spirit and toward what strengthens it. Wisdom to trust the path even when you cannot see the end. This wisdom will empower you to move forward boldly, without the torment of second guessing. You will see the path open step by step, decision by decision, as you walk with me instead of walking with fear. You will no longer make choices from a place of survival. You will make them from a place of identity. You will not choose based on insecurity, you will choose based on truth. And the decisions you were once afraid to make will become the very decisions that lead you into the next season of clarity, elevation, and blessing. Wisdom is here. Direction is here. And courage is rising within you. Listen to me with every corner of your heart open, because what I am about to speak touches the deepest wound inside you, the one you rarely admit exists. I am breaking off the fear that whispers you aren't enough. You have carried this fear for years, sometimes without even recognizing it. It formed in childhood moments where you felt unseen, in relationships where love was conditional, in failures that made you question your worth, in comparisons that made you shrink yourself, in disappointments that made you doubt whether you were truly meant for more. This fear has followed you like a shadow, speaking to you in moments of vulnerability, telling you that you are inadequate, unqualified, unworthy, or somehow lacking. But hear me now with a clarity that shakes the foundation of that lie. That fear is not your voice. That fear is not my voice. That fear is not truth. And that fear is losing its authority over you in this very moment. You have allowed the fear of not enough to shape your decisions, your relationships, your dreams, your willingness to step forward, and even your ability to receive love. It kept you apologizing for your existence. It kept you doubting whether your presence mattered. It kept you questioning whether what you carry is valuable. But I have watched you battle this fear quietly, bravely, even on days when it felt overwhelming. I saw you push through insecurity to help someone. I saw you step into situations even when your hands shook. I saw you speak when your voice trembled. I saw you dream even when doubt screamed louder. And I want you to recognize this. Every time you rose despite fear's whisper, you revealed a truth fear could never erase. You are stronger than you think, and more loved than you know. And now, I am breaking the roots of that fear. I am shattering the structure it built inside your mind. I am tearing down the lies it taught you to believe. You will begin to feel a new confidence rising slowly, quietly, steadily, like dawn breaking after a long night. You will sense my presence filling the places where insecurity once lived. You will begin to think differently, speak differently, choose differently, and walk differently. Not because you are pretending to be confident, but because you are finally free from the lie that you were anything less than chosen, purposeful, and deeply treasured. Fear told you you weren't enough, but I created you with intention, detail, and divine design. Fear told you you would fail, but I have already woven victory into your journey. Fear told you you were behind, but I am pulling you into alignment with perfect timing. Fear told you to settle, but I am lifting you into a season where stepping forward becomes natural, not terrifying. From this point forward, fear will no longer govern your identity. My truth will. And my truth declares, you are enough because I formed you with purpose, equipped you with strength, and called you by name. Hear me now as I speak directly into the battleground of your mind. I am silencing the lies that have tried to weaken your faith. You have been under mental warfare, subtle, persistent, exhausting. Not with loud accusations, but with quiet distortions that camouflage themselves as truth. Lies that whispered you were alone. Lies that suggested I had forgotten you. Lies that made you assume things would never change. Lies that told you your prayers were pointless, your efforts meaningless, your hope foolish. Lies that took moments of waiting and twisted them into narratives of abandonment. Lies that use your past to predict a hopeless future. But I am stepping into that mental space now, and I am silencing every lie that has spoken against your promise. You have absorbed these lies in moments of fatigue, in seasons of uncertainty, in times when your emotions felt louder than your spirit. But lies do not become truth simply because you've heard them long enough. Truth remains truth, and my truth is rising now with authority that dismantles every false word spoken over your life. I have not left you. I have not ignored you. I have not abandoned the work I began in you. I have not withheld goodness from you. I have not delayed your breakthrough without purpose. And I certainly have not destined you to repeat cycles of disappointment forever. Those were lies. Lies meant to drain the hope I cultivated within you. But now, I am restoring clarity where confusion lived. I am restoring faith where doubt tried to nest. I am restoring courage where fear built walls. You will begin to recognize my voice again, not drowned out by noise, not overshadowed by fear, not distorted by discouragement. My voice brings peace, not chaos. My voice brings assurance, not anxiety. My voice brings direction, not despair. And as my truth washes over you, the lies that once felt powerful will crumble like dust. Your faith will rise again, not as fragile hope, but as steady confidence. You will believe again with strength. You will trust again with depth. You will see again with clarity. The lies that tried to erode your faith will become the very fuel that strengthens it, because once you recognize a lie, it loses its power. And now, truth is reclaiming the space that deception once occupied. I am silencing every false whisper, every distorted belief, every mental narrative that contradicted my promise. Your faith is being rebuilt, not on imagination but on revelation. And once faith rises in truth, nothing can weaken it again. Lean into this promise with the full expectancy of your heart. You will hear my voice more clearly in this season than ever before. You have walked through times where my voice felt distant, where prayers seemed to echo into silence, where guidance felt hidden, where you questioned whether you were even hearing me at all. But this next season will be different, marked by clarity, sensitivity, and unmistakable spiritual resonance. I am opening your ears, not your physical ears, but the ears of your spirit, to recognize my whisper in ways you could not before. This is not because you have finally become worthy, but because you have finally become ready. You have been stripped of distractions, detached from people who clouded your discernment, freed from environments that drowned out my guidance. You have walked through silence not because I wasn't speaking, but because I was tuning you, calibrating your heart to distinguish my voice from the noise around you. And now, after all you've endured, your spirit is poised to hear me with new clarity. You will hear me in peace. You will hear me in nudges. You will hear me in alignment. You will hear me in truth that rises within you, even when your mind doesn't fully understand it yet. My voice will guide you, not with confusion, but with confidence. It will interrupt your anxiety with reassurance. It will interrupt your doubt with direction. It will interrupt your fear with courage. You will find yourself saying, "I just know," not because you guessed, but because your spirit recognizes me. You will notice how I speak through scripture, through wisdom, through moments of stillness, through unexpected confirmation, through opportunities that feel divinely timed. You will no longer feel lost or directionless, because my guidance will be steady and accessible. In this season, you will not chase signs, you will walk with discernment. You will not beg for answers, you will receive insight. You will not worry about missing my will, you will step into it naturally because your spirit and my spirit are becoming aligned. The clarity you have been craving is coming, not with force, but with familiarity. My voice will become the guiding rhythm of your days. And as you follow that voice, you will walk with the confidence of someone who knows they are never navigating life alone. Feel this invitation settle into the deepest part of you, because what I am calling you into is not shallow, not distant, not fragile. I am drawing you into deeper intimacy with me, where peace begins to replace panic in ways you never believed possible. You have tried to find peace in circumstances, in people, in plans, in accomplishments, and yet every time you reached for stability in those places, it slipped through your fingers like water. That is because peace was never meant to come from around you. It was always meant to flow from within you, from a closeness to me that anchors your spirit even when life feels unpredictable. For too long, you've lived with an inner tension, a quiet restlessness, a mind that doesn't know how to settle. But hear me. I am taking you deeper, not into complexity, but into stillness, not into striving, but into communion, not into religious performance, but into relationship. You have tasted moments of my peace before, but this season will be different. It will not be fleeting moments of calm, but a sustained awareness of my presence that steadies your heartbeat. I am drawing you closer so you can learn the rhythm of my voice, the safety of my nearness, the strength of my embrace. When intimacy with me deepens, panic loses its authority. Worry dissolves. Anxiety weakens. Fear loses its voice. Because intimacy is not something you feel once. It becomes a place you live. And I am inviting you to live there now. This deeper intimacy will not require you to be perfect. It requires you to be present. Bring me your doubts, your questions, your exhaustion, your unfiltered emotions. I do not withdraw from your rawness, I draw nearer because of it. I am not offended by your fears or surprised by your weakness. I am your refuge, not your critic. And as you come near, I will begin to lift the heaviness from your mind, quiet the noise in your thoughts, and settle the storms that have raged inside you for years. You will begin to notice that peace does not come from everything going right. It comes from knowing I am with you even when everything feels uncertain. In this deeper intimacy, your prayers will feel different, not rushed, not desperate, not mechanical. They will feel like breathing. Your connection with me will not be something you have to force. It will become something your spirit naturally longs for, because I have designed you to remain connected to me as your source. And the peace you experience there will not just soothe you, it will transform you. It will strengthen your decisions, guide your actions, and settle your identity. You will walk with a peace that others can feel, a peace that becomes your signature, a peace that testifies that you are no longer living life alone. You are living it in deep, unbreakable intimacy with me. Hear me with stillness in your spirit. Do not rush this moment, because what you are walking through right now is holy, intentional, and profoundly transformative. I know you feel the pull of urgency, the pressure to hurry, the temptation to move quickly because your mind believes speed equals progress. But the deepest transformation happens slowly, quietly, and intentionally. This moment, this sacred unfolding, is not something to rush through, it is something to experience, something to absorb, something to allow. You have lived much of your life in survival mode, running from one demand to another, pushing through pain, outrunning disappointment, and trying to prove you were strong enough to handle everything on your own. But this season is not about running, it is about receiving. It is about allowing the work I am doing inside you to complete its full course, without interruption, without resistance, without haste. Transformation is not a moment, it is a process. And this process is reshaping the deepest parts of you. I am healing wounds you forgot you carried. I am reshaping beliefs that once limited your identity. I am detoxing your spirit from things you normalized. I am mending pieces of your heart that were fractured in silence. I am strengthening muscles of faith you never knew you had. And these things cannot be rushed. They must be carefully tended. Just as a seed cannot be forced to grow overnight, your transformation must unfold at its divinely appointed pace. Your mind says, hurry, get to the next part. But your spirit says, stay, something sacred is happening. And you must listen to your spirit. Because if you rush this moment, you will step into the next season unprepared for the blessing I am preparing to release. Restoration takes time. Revelation takes time. Realignment takes time. And rushing will only rob you of the depth I am trying to give you. This moment is holy because I am in it. This moment is transformative because your heart is finally open enough to receive what I've been trying to give you for years. This moment is not delay, it is development. Not stagnation, it is strengthening. Not idleness, it is infusion. And as you allow me to work in you without rushing, you will emerge with clarity, peace, healing, maturity, and spiritual power that will shape the rest of your life. Stay here with me. Stay in this work. Stay in this transformation. You are not behind. You are becoming. Listen to me with the fullness of your spirit awakened, because this truth carries the power to break generational patterns and silence every lie that has spoken against you. I am rewriting the story the enemy attempted to script over your life. You have lived with narratives that never belonged to you. Stories of defeat, stories of fear, stories of inadequacy, stories of failure, stories of repeated cycles and inherited pain. These were not my stories for you. They were attempts to distort your identity, your future, and your sense of worth. The enemy tried to write chapters that made you feel powerless, voiceless, unseen, and unworthy. But hear me. Those chapters are not final, and they are not authoritative. I am the author of your story, and I am writing every place where the enemy tried to write destruction. You have walked through seasons where it felt like darkness dictated your direction. Moments where pain convinced you that hope was naive. Times when you believed your story was set in stone because the wounds felt too deep or the patterns too familiar. But my child, I have been watching the battlefield of your life long before you ever recognized the fight. And every attempt the enemy made to derail you is being overwritten by my hand. I am reclaiming your narrative. I am restoring what was damaged. I am redeeming what was stolen. I am resurrecting what was buried. This rewriting is not symbolic. It is transformational. I am changing the storyline of your identity. No longer will you be defined by trauma, by failure, by rejection, by loss, by fear, by insecurity, by mistakes, or by the shadows of your past. Those were attempts to sabotage your destiny, not reflections of who you are. I am writing your story into one of resilience, restoration, and divine purpose. I am rewriting your identity into courage, confidence, and spiritual authority. I am rewriting your future into hope, abundance, and destiny. Every lie spoken over you is losing its claim. Every generational pattern is breaking. Every limiting belief is dissolving. You will see yourself differently, not through the lens of wounds, but through the lens of worth. Not through the lens of mistakes, but through the lens of mastery. Not through the lens of what hurt you, but through the lens of what shaped you. Your story is not over. It is being rewritten by the one who formed you. And what I write cannot be erased, reversed, or destroyed. You are stepping into the version of your life that was always meant to be lived. The one the enemy tried to prevent, but could never stop. Listen to me with the part of your heart that still aches when you think of what you once hoped for. I am breathing new life into dreams you buried long ago. There are dreams inside you that you stopped talking about, stopped praying for, stopped believing in. Not because they were unworthy, but because life pressed so hard against you that holding on to them felt painful. I saw the moment you laid them down. I saw when disappointment made you say, maybe this isn't for me. I saw when fear whispered, it's too late. I saw when circumstances convinced you that you were unqualified, underprepared, or simply forgotten. But hear me now, your dreams did not die. They went dormant. And what goes dormant can be awakened by the breath of the one who placed them in you to begin with. I am awakening what you thought time had stolen. Those dreams mattered to you because they were planted by me. They were not fantasies. They were not illusions. They were glimpses of the purpose I wove into you before you ever took your first breath. But you faced storms that made you question whether your hopes were realistic. You endured rejection that made you feel foolish for wanting more. You lived through seasons that made you settle into survival when you were designed for destiny. Yet even in those seasons, even when you stopped reaching for those dreams, I never stopped guarding them. They have been waiting, covered in dust but untouched in essence, waiting for the moment when your heart would be strong enough to receive them again. That moment is now. I am breathing life into dreams you hid because they hurt too much to look at. I am breathing life into dreams you let go because you lacked support. I am breathing life into dreams that seemed impossible because the timing wasn't right. You will feel ideas stirring again. You will feel passion awakening again. You will feel inspiration returning like a quiet flame in the center of your being. It will not overwhelm you. It will invite you. It will not pressure you. It will strengthen you. And as these dreams rise again, you will not chase them with desperation. You will walk toward them with confidence, knowing I am the one who resurrected them. Nothing is too late for me to revive. Nothing is too broken for me to rebuild. Nothing is too forgotten for me to remember. Every buried dream that comes alive in this season will be matched with the maturity, healing, and wisdom you did not have before. You are not returning to an old dream. You are stepping into the version of it that aligns with who you have become. And this time, you will not watch it fade. You will watch it flourish. Feel this with the full awareness of your spirit awakening. I am stirring gifts within you that have been dormant, gifts you once used freely, gifts you were once excited about, gifts you once believed were part of your purpose, but that you allowed to fade beneath the weight of life's demands. You have talents, insights, strengths, and spiritual capacities that you suppressed because you were overwhelmed, discouraged, or distracted. Some of your gifts were dimmed by environments that didn't value them. Some were silenced by people who didn't understand them. Some were neglected because you were too busy surviving to thrive. But dormant does not mean dead. Dormant means resting, waiting, preparing for reactivation. And now I am awakening those gifts with purpose, precision, and joy. Inside you are abilities that have been sleeping, waiting for the right season to rise. You will begin to feel a stirring, a desire to create again, to speak again, to lead again, to help again, to build again. These stirrings will not come from pressure. They will come from alignment. Your spirit will confirm what your mind has forgotten. These gifts were placed in you intentionally. They are part of your identity. They are part of your calling. They are part of the impact you are meant to make. And though you tried to suppress them, I never removed them. They have been waiting for the moment when you were healed enough, whole enough, and ready enough for them to be activated again. As these gifts awaken, you will notice a shift in the way you think, feel, and perceive your own potential. What once intimidated you will now excite you. What once confused you will now make sense. What once felt like obligation will now feel like purpose. You will feel strength flowing in areas where you once felt weak. You will notice clarity in abilities you once doubted. You will find yourself doing things with ease that others struggle with, not because you are better, but because you are gifted. There is no pride in recognizing your gifts. There is only stewardship. And I am calling you to steward what I have placed inside you, not hide it. Do not fear the awakening. Do not push it away. Do not convince yourself that you are unworthy of it. Gifts are not a reward. They are a design. And your design is emerging. These gifts will lead you to doors you could never force open. They will connect you to people who recognize your value. They will guide you into assignments that bring peace, joy, and fulfillment. You are stepping into a season of spiritual activation, where everything I placed inside you will begin to rise. Hear me now with a depth that reaches beyond emotion, beyond memory, beyond circumstance. Your spirit is shifting from survival to strength. You have lived in survival mode longer than you care to admit. You've endured seasons where you were simply trying to make it through the day, trying to keep your mind stable, your heart steady, your hope alive. Survival became your instinct. It became your posture, your reflex, your default. But you were never meant to live your life in constant defense. You were created for strength, for growth, for resilience that does more than endure. It overcomes. And now I am shifting you into that strength, not gradually, not conditionally, but decisively. Survival taught you endurance, but strength will teach you authority. Survival taught you how to adapt, but strength will teach you how to rise. Survival taught you how to hold on, but strength will teach you how to move forward. You have been living with the mindset of someone trying not to break, but I am giving you the spirit of someone who knows they cannot be broken. This shift is not just emotional, it is spiritual. It is a recalibration of identity. You are stepping out of a season where you reacted to life and into a season where you command your ground. You will feel this shift in the way you think. The thoughts that once overwhelmed you will lose intensity. The fears that once paralyzed you will lose their grip. The doubts that once clouded your mind will fade into the background. Strength is rewriting your inner dialogue. Strength is reshaping the way you interpret difficulty. Strength is teaching you to see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a vessel of purpose, equipped with resilience formed in the fires you survived. This shift will also show in your confidence, not loud, not arrogant, but steady. You will make decisions with clarity instead of hesitation. You will set boundaries with peace instead of guilt. You will walk into rooms with presence instead of shrinking. You will speak with conviction instead of fear. You will carry yourself as someone who knows they have been forged, not crushed, by every trial they endured. Survival kept you alive, but strength will allow you to live. And from this point forward, your spirit will no longer live braced for impact. It will live anchored in truth, grounded in identity, and empowered by the resilience I have built within you. You are stepping out of the shadows of what you endured and stepping into the strength of who you are becoming. Listen closely, because this moment marks a turning in your spirit. I am giving you the courage to step out of what is familiar, even when the familiar has felt safer than the unknown. You have held on to certain patterns, environments, habits, and relationships not because they brought you joy, but because they brought you predictability. The familiar became your refuge, not because it nurtured you, but because it asked nothing new of you. And yet, deep within your spirit, I've been stirring a holy discomfort, nudging you away from the places that keep you small. That discomfort is not punishment. It is permission. It is me awakening your courage, calling you to rise beyond the limitations you've accepted, and leading you toward the spaces that match the fullness of who you are becoming. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move even when fear tries to anchor you. And now, I am placing that willingness inside you. You will begin to feel a new boldness rising within your heart, a boldness that challenges the excuses you've lived behind for years. You will sense a quiet, undeniable push to try what you've avoided, to speak where you've been silent, to step into rooms you once felt unprepared for, to trust that I have already gone before you. Familiarity has tried to convince you that you belong where you've always been, but courage will show you that you belong where you have not yet stepped. You will discover that the unknown you feared is actually the territory where your purpose thrives. You will feel me steadying your spirit, strengthening your resolve, and silencing the voice that tells you to stay where it feels safe. I am calling you into expansion, not stagnation. This courage will not be reckless. It will be rooted in my peace. You will feel it as a grounded knowing, a certainty, a spiritual exhale that whispers, "You're ready." Even when your mind argues, "What if I fail?" your spirit will answer, "But what if I grow?" The familiar may fight for your attention, the past may try to pull you back, and fear may try to anchor you, but courage will rise stronger. You will no longer settle for what merely feels comfortable. You will step boldly into what is purposeful, and each step you take will reveal a strength within you that was never dormant. It was waiting to be awakened. I am not asking you to leap alone. I am walking with you. I am clearing the way ahead of you. I am preparing doors that only require your courage to step through. And as you leave the familiar, you will discover that everything you truly need is found in the faith that moves you forward, not the comfort that keeps you still. Hear me with an openness that dares to believe again. The unfamiliar you fear is the very place where your destiny begins. You have prayed for purpose, for breakthrough, for clarity, for elevation, but you expected it to arrive wrapped in comfort, predictability, and security. Yet every destiny-aligned moment in your life will require you to step into territory where your feet have never walked before. The unfamiliar is not a threat, it is an invitation. It is the doorway to the life your spirit has been longing for, even when your mind tries to talk you out of it. You fear the unfamiliar because it demands trust. It demands release. It demands faith that stretches beyond what you can control. But hear me now. The unknown is not your enemy. It is the birthplace of the next version of you. You are standing on the threshold of something new. New opportunities, new relationships, new ways of thinking, new levels of strength, new expressions of calling. And although your instinct is to retreat into what you know, your destiny is calling you forward. The unfamiliar feels intimidating because it has no map, no guarantee, no familiar reference point. But that is exactly where I do my greatest work. When you step into the unfamiliar, you create room for me to guide, to reveal, to build, to unfold what you could never orchestrate on your own. The unfamiliar is where miracles manifest. The unfamiliar is where old identities fall away. The unfamiliar is where spiritual vision sharpens. Destiny does not unfold in the comfort zone, it unfolds in the obedience zone. And I am strengthening your spirit to embrace what you cannot predict. You will notice that the fear you once felt around the unfamiliar will begin to lose its grip. You will sense excitement rising where anxiety once lived. You will feel anticipation stirring where hesitation once held you captive. The unknown will no longer feel dark. It will feel full of possibility. I am beckoning you into new land, not external land, but internal land. New faith, new courage, new resilience, a new maturity, a new identity. And as you step into the unfamiliar, you will realize that you were never meant to remain confined to the old version of your life. Destiny awaits in the places you have not yet walked, and I am already there, calling you forward. Let this truth settle into every place where fear has built a home. I have already gone ahead of you. There is nothing to fear. You look at the path before you and see uncertainty. I look at the same path and see completion. You see unanswered questions. I see fulfilled promises. You see risk. I see preparation. For every worry you've held in your heart, I have already stepped into the future and made a way where there seemed to be none. Before you take one step, I have walked miles ahead of you. Before you face one challenge, I have already secured the outcome. Before you enter one new season, I have already prepared the grace you will need to walk through it. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into the pre-plan. Fear has tried to convince you that you are walking alone, that you might make the wrong move, that danger lies in the future, that uncertainty is unsafe. But fear sees only the surface. Faith sees me, and I am in the future, just as much as I am in the present. You cannot outrun my presence. You cannot step outside of my covering. You cannot walk into a moment where I have not already arrived. Consider this. Every provision you need is already planted. Every opportunity is already aligned. Every connection is already prepared. Every breakthrough is already in motion. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into orchestration. You fear the future because you imagine yourself in it without me. But that vision is false. I am already there. I am smoothing rough places. I am removing obstacles. I am softening hearts. I am shifting circumstances. I am positioning the right people. I am clearing the wrong ones. Nothing about your future is random. Nothing about your journey is unplanned. Nothing about what's ahead will ever catch me off guard. So release the fear that grips your chest. Release the tension that tightens your mind. Release the belief that you must control everything. You don't need to control what I have already secured. I am not asking you to walk blindly. I am asking you to walk confidently. Because confidence doesn't come from knowing every detail. It comes from knowing that I hold every detail. And as you move forward, you will feel my presence lighting your path, steadying your steps, and guiding your decisions. You will discover that there was never anything to fear, because I was always ahead of you, preparing, protecting, and paving the way. Listen to this with your whole heart, because what I am doing around you is as strategic as what I am doing within you. I am surrounding you with people who will support your calling, not suffocate it. For too long, you have walked through seasons carrying more weight than your soul was designed to bear alone. You've been the strong one, the dependable one, the one others leaned on, even when you were quietly falling apart. You've poured into people who never poured back. You've encouraged those who never encouraged you. You stood with those who abandoned you when you needed them most. But I have seen the imbalance. I have seen the loneliness hidden in your strength. I have seen the longing in your heart for companionship that lifts you instead of draining you. And now, in this season of divine alignment, I am sending people who speak life into your spirit, who celebrate your growth instead of fearing it, who value your calling instead of competing with it. These people will come unexpectedly, some new, some returning, some completely unfamiliar. But the common thread among them will be this: their presence will feel like peace, their words will feel like clarity, their connection will feel like alignment. You will not have to shrink, pretend, or silence any part of who you are around them. They will not be intimidated by your calling. They will help you rise into it. They will not drain you. They will strengthen you. They will not use you. They will cover you. These are destiny-aligned relationships, handpicked for where you are going, not where you have been. You may feel cautious at first, hesitant to trust, unsure if this time will be different. But I will give you discernment. I will show you who carries the right spirit. I will highlight those who are trustworthy, whose hearts are genuine, whose intentions are pure. You will recognize them not by how loudly they speak, but by how deeply they see you. You will know them by the peace they bring, the encouragement they impart, the way they align with your growth instead of resisting it. This season marks the end of forced connections. No more clinging to people who don't value you. No more trying to fit into circles that don't match your calling. No more pouring into relationships that only drain you. You are stepping into a community that mirrors the person you are becoming, not the person you had to be in survival. These relationships will feel like oxygen to your spirit. And as they gather around you, you will finally understand that I never intended for you to walk your calling alone. Hear me with a clarity that may feel uncomfortable at first but will set you free. I am removing those who drain your faith or distract your focus. There are people in your life, some dear, some familiar, some long-standing, whose presence has slowly weakened your conviction, diluted your vision, or pulled your heart away from the direction I've been nudging you toward. They didn't always come with ill intent. Some simply lacked the capacity to support you. Some carried insecurities that bled into your spirit. Some walked in confusion and brought their chaos into your peace. Some spoke out of their own brokenness and planted seeds of doubt in your soul. But hear me. Anyone who consistently diminishes your faith or disrupts your focus cannot remain in the center of your journey. This removal is not rejection. It is redirection. It is protection. It is pruning for growth. I know it may feel painful when people begin to drift away, or when conversations feel different, or when relationships begin to fade. You may interpret it as loss, abandonment, or disappointment. But look closer. Feel deeper. Something in your spirit has already recognized that some of these connections were not meant to travel into the next season with you. Your voice in your life was too loud. Your influence too strong. Your presence too distracting. And if I allowed them to stay, you would continue to question, delay, and doubt what I'm calling you to step into. As I remove these individuals, do not cling. Do not chase. Do not try to force what I am undoing. Release them with grace, knowing that not everyone is meant to accompany you into destiny. Some were meant only for a season, a lesson, or a moment. You may not fully see it now, but soon you will understand how their distance creates space for clarity, for peace, for stability, and for the relationships I am sending to replace them. This removal will feel like fresh air in places where your spirit once felt suffocated. You will feel lighter. You will think clearer. You will pray with more freedom. You will move with greater focus. You will stop apologizing for outgrowing what once felt comfortable. And most importantly, you will realize that I am not taking people away to leave you alone. I am making space for those who will elevate you, not distract you. This pruning is purposeful, And when it is done, you will be positioned for growth that once felt impossible. Feel this truth as it shifts your perspective. Your circle will become smaller but more powerful. You once believed that belonging meant surrounding yourself with many people, maintaining numerous connections, and keeping everyone close. But as I refine you, as your calling sharpens, as your purpose intensifies, you will discover that power is not found in numbers. It is found in alignment. A large crowd can give you noise, but a small circle gives you strength. And in this season, I am intentionally reducing the noise around you so you can finally hear the voices that matter. The shrinking of your circle is not punishment. It is maturity. It is elevation. It is me allowing only those who carry clarity, encouragement, and spiritual integrity to walk closely with you. The smaller your circle becomes, the more you will notice the difference in your peace, your focus, your growth, and your ability to hear my voice without distortion. The people who remain will not be there out of convenience. They will be there out of divine alignment. They will stand with you, not because they need something from you, but because they recognize the calling on your life and honor its weight. Your new circle will empower you. They will speak life into you. They will pray for you without being asked. They will celebrate your victories without envy. They will correct you with love, not condemnation. They will sharpen your purpose, not distract it. You will feel guarded, supported, uplifted, and understood. And you will understand that this is what community was always meant to be, not crowded, but connected. Not draining, but strengthening. Not competitive, but collaborative. Do not fear the shrinking. Do not mourn the departure of those who were not meant to stay. Do not interpret fewer people as less love. What I am giving you is not quantity, it is quality. You are entering a season where the relationships around you will be handpicked, intentional, and deeply aligned with your destiny. These are the people who will walk with you into the future I am building. These are the ones who will multiply your strength, not divide it. Your circle will become smaller, yes, but the power within it will become unexplainably strong. You will feel it. You will see it. You will flourish because of it. Listen to me with the tenderness of a soul that has carried more than it ever voiced. Your heart will finally heal from wounds you stopped addressing. You have lived with quiet injuries, hurt places buried beneath years of functioning, smiling, surviving, and pushing forward. These wounds didn't disappear just because you ignored them. They settled deep, shaping the way you thought, felt, trusted, and navigated relationships. Some of these wounds came from betrayal, people you love who didn't love you with the same integrity. Some came from abandonment, moments when those who were supposed to protect you walked away. Some came from words spoken over you that never should have been said. Some came from seasons where you felt invisible, overlooked, unchosen, or unworthy. And though you learned to continue with your life, your heart carried these wounds like invisible scars. But hear me. I am reaching into the places you tucked away, the places you thought were just part of who you are now, and I am healing them one layer at a time. This healing will not be shallow. It will not be temporary. It will not be emotional bandages wrapped around gaping wounds. This healing will be deep, precise, and complete. You will feel emotions surface, tears you didn't know were still stored, memories you forgot were still sharp, but they are not resurfacing to hurt you. They are resurfacing to release you. I am not reopening old pain to torment you. I am touching it so you can finally live without its weight. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is remembering without being broken by the memory. Healing is not pretending you were never hurt. Healing is realizing the hurt no longer owns you. Your heart will begin to feel lighter. The areas where you felt numb will begin to feel alive again. The walls you built for protection will begin to come down because you will no longer need them. You will trust again, not blindly, but with discernment. You will love again, not cautiously but freely. You will breathe again, not shallowly but deeply. And the version of you that emerges from this healing will not be a wounded survivor. You will be a restored child, whole, grounded, strengthened, renewed. I am not just healing your heart. I am returning pieces of you that you thought were gone forever. Hear this with the gentle certainty your spirit has been longing for. I am restoring trust where it was broken. I know how deeply you've struggled with trust. Not only trust in others, but trust in yourself, trust in the future, and at times, trust in me. You've been let down by people you relied on. You've been disappointed by promises that were never fulfilled. You've been wounded by inconsistencies, dishonesty, manipulation, and betrayal. These experiences taught you to guard yourself, to question motives, to assume disappointment before it even arrives. But this season is different, because I am reaching into the very places where trust fractured, and I am rebuilding them with my own hands. Restoration of trust is not about erasing the past. It's about healing the lens through which you see the present and the future. You have been living with a cautious heart for so long that caution began to masquerade as wisdom. But not all caution is wisdom. Some of it is fear disguised as discernment. You shut doors that needed to open. You withdrew from opportunities that were meant to bless you. You doubted your own intuition because pain distorted your perception. But I am restoring trust in a way that honors the pain you endured while freeing you from its grip. You will begin to trust your own voice again, because I am aligning it with my truth. You will begin to trust people again, not recklessly, but with discernment sharpened by healing. You will begin to trust the unfolding of your life, not because you can predict it, but because you will feel my presence anchoring every step. And most importantly, you will begin to trust me again, not as an idea, not as a distant concept, but as a steady, present Father who has never left your side even in the moments you felt the most alone. Trust will return slowly, gently, powerfully. It will not come through grand gestures, but through consistent peace. It will come through clarity, through alignment, through the undeniable sense that I am guiding you. And once trust is restored, you will no longer filter your future through the pain of your past. You will filter it through the promise of my goodness. Feel this like the sunrise breaking through a long, cold night. I am restoring joy where it seemed impossible. I know you've lived through seasons where joy felt like something other people experienced, something distant, something fleeting, something you wanted but couldn't hold on to. You laughed, but the laughter didn't reach your spirit. You smiled, but the smile didn't reflect your heart. You tried to find joy in achievements, in relationships, in busyness, in distractions, but none of it settled into your soul. Joy became something you remembered, not something you live. But I am stepping into that place within you where the light dimmed, where hope weakened, where sorrow made a home, and I am restoring joy that is not dependent on circumstances, timing, or emotion. It will be a joy that rises from the inside, steady and undeniable. This joy will not be artificial or forced. It will not be a mask. It will not be temporary. It will be a deep, abiding joy, joy that comes from healing, joy that comes from peace, joy that comes from knowing you are cared for, seen, and held. You will wake up and feel something shifting. You will notice moments that once triggered sadness now bring gratitude. You will find yourself smiling without effort. You will laugh from a place you thought was permanently closed. This joy is not denial of pain. It is the triumph of hope over it. I am restoring joy by healing the wounds that stole it. I am restoring joy by removing the heaviness that suffocated it. I am restoring joy by lifting the burdens that dulled it. You will feel joy return slowly at first, like a spark, like a whisper, like a soft glow. Then it will grow, steady, radiant, unshakable. Not because life is perfect, but because your heart is whole. This joy will mark a new chapter, a chapter where you no longer live with emotional numbness, where you no longer carry sorrow as if it is permanent, where you no longer assume that happiness is short-lived. Your joy will be protected, sustained, and continually renewed. And when people see you, they will sense it, not forced, not performed, but real. Because it is I who restored it. And what I restore, nothing can take away. Listen to me with the part of your soul that has felt the most exhausted, the most drained, the most ready to give up. I am restoring strength where you felt utterly defeated. You've had moments, quiet, hidden moments, where you wondered if you had anything left inside you to keep going. You've walked through days where you felt like your spirit was stretched thin, where even the smallest task felt heavy, where hope felt distant, and where your heart whispered, "I can't do this anymore." You pushed through responsibilities. You kept showing up. You kept putting one foot in front of the other. But deep inside, you felt the fatigue pressing against your bones. You felt the burnout in your mind. You felt the heaviness in your heart. You felt the defeat that came from battles that seemed endless. But hear me, what you call defeat, I call transition. And what you feel slipping away is not your strength. It is your old capacity, making room for a new one that I am building within you. Your strength failed because you were relying on your own reserves that life drained faster than you could replenish. But the strength I am restoring is not rooted in willpower. It is rooted in me. It will not run out when circumstances shift. It will not crumble when pressure increases. It will not vanish when emotions fluctuate. This strength comes from my spirit breathing power into your tired places. It comes from me lifting you when you can't lift yourself. It comes from me carrying you when you feel like you can't take another step. You will begin to notice that situations which once overwhelmed you no longer intimidate you. You will sense resilience rising within you quietly, like dawn breaking after a long night. I am restoring strength not only to your body, but to your mind, your emotions, your hope, and your joy. Where you once felt weary, you will feel renewed. Where you once felt anxious, you will feel anchored. Where you once felt defeated, you will feel victorious. Not because everything becomes easy, but because you become stronger. Strength is returning in waves, gentle at first, then powerful, then undeniable. And as this strength settles into your spirit, you will look back at the moments that nearly broke you and realize they forged the foundation for the strength I am giving you now. You are not weak. You are rebuilding. You are not defeated. You are being reinforced. You are not at the end. You are at the turning point. And my strength, limitless, steadied, unfailing, is becoming your strength. Not borrowed, not temporary, but embedded deep within your spirit, carrying you into the next chapter with renewed power and unstoppable resolve. Hear me with the expectancy your heart has been afraid to feel. The breakthrough you've waited for is closer than you imagine. You have endured seasons where it felt like nothing was moving, nothing was changing, nothing was shifting despite your prayers, your efforts, your tears, your faith. You wondered if you misunderstood my timing, if I forgot your request, if the promise was for someone else but not for you. You began to lower your expectations, not because you no longer believed in me, but because disappointment trained you to protect your heart from being hurt again. But I am telling you now, the delay was not denial, and the silence was not abandonment. Your breakthrough has been building, quietly, steadily, invisibly. And it is so close that if you could see the unseen realm, your spirit would leap with anticipation. Breakthrough rarely announces itself before it arrives. It is forged beneath the surface, where faith is tested, where patience is shaped, where character is strengthened, where roots grow deep. You have walked through battles that felt endless, but every battle was preparing the ground for the breakthrough that is now emerging. You have prayed prayers that seemed unanswered, but every prayer was watering the soil where your breakthrough was planted. You have endured pressures that felt unbearable, but every pressure was forming the vessel that will carry the blessing I am sending you. The breakthrough coming your way is not partial, it is complete. It is not fragile, it is fortified. It is not temporary, it is established. You will feel the shift internally before you see it externally. An inner confidence will rise. A fresh hope will stir. Peace will settle in your chest like something being divinely rearranged. And when the breakthrough manifests, it will not trickle in quietly. It will unfold in a way that makes you say, "Only God could have done this." You are closer than you think, closer to the open door, closer to the answered prayer, closer to the new beginning, closer to the restoration, closer to the clarity your heart has begged for. Do not let exhaustion distort your vision. Do not let weariness convince you to stop. Do not let doubt rob you of the victory that is already unfolding. The breakthrough you have waited long for is not approaching, it is arriving. Listen deeply, because this is happening in the unseen even as you read these words. Even now, I am shifting the atmosphere around your life. You may feel the same. Your surroundings may look the same. Your circumstances may appear unchanged. But what is happening spiritually is profound. Atmosphere shifts happen before physical shifts. You sense it in your sleep, in your restlessness, in your sudden clarity, in your renewed hunger for peace, in the way certain people no longer feel aligned, in the way your spirit feels more alert. These are signs that the environment around your destiny is being rearranged to make room for the next season of your life. Atmospheres shift when cycles end. Atmospheres shift when blessings are near. Atmospheres shift when spiritual battles conclude. Atmospheres shift when new assignments are being prepared. And right now, I'm shifting the environment surrounding your name, your purpose, your future, your relationships, your opportunities. I am clearing away what clouded you. I am dismantling what resisted you. I am removing what distracted you. I am aligning what supports you. And though you cannot fully see the transformation, you can feel it, because your spirit always detects what your eyes cannot. Do not ignore what your soul is sensing. The heaviness breaking, the confusion lifting, the peace returning, the hope rising, the restlessness signaling change. These are not mood swings. They are prophetic indicators of what I am doing around you. The atmosphere is shifting to match the destiny ahead of you, not the battle behind you. I am preparing safe ground for your next steps. I am softening hearts that will favor you. I am opening doors that were locked. I am exposing things that needed to be seen. I am closing chapters that no longer serve you. And when the atmosphere finishes shifting, everything connected to your life will begin to respond. Doors will open. Opportunities will appear. Answers will come. Relationships will align. Clarity will sharpen. This atmospheric shift is not subtle. It is foundational. And it marks the beginning of a new rhythm, a new flow, a new alignment for your entire life. You do not have to see the change to trust it. You only need to recognize that even now, this very moment, I am shifting everything around you for your good. Listen closely, because this truth will shift the way you interpret the silence around you. I am aligning opportunities you are not yet aware of. You have been looking at your life from the vantage point of what you can see, what is in front of you, what you can measure, what has unfolded so far. But I operate beyond your field of vision. While you've been wondering why certain doors have stayed closed, why progress has felt delayed, why nothing seems to be shifting externally, I have been moving in the unseen, arranging opportunities that will come into your life with a precision that only divine orchestration can accomplish. These opportunities are not the product of chance. They are the result of conversations you're not part of, decisions that haven't reached you yet, movements happening in rooms you've never stepped into, and favor building around your name in spaces you haven't touched. You may feel like you are standing still, but opportunities are not. They are being positioned like pieces on a board, aligning perfectly with your growth, your healing, your development, and your readiness. I am aligning people whose paths will intersect with yours at exactly the right time. I am aligning resources that will arrive when you need them, not too early, not too late. I am aligning breakthroughs that will accelerate you into the season I've been preparing you for. You are unaware of these alignments not because they are lacking, but because they are sacred, and sacred things are often hidden until the moment they are revealed. You will soon notice sudden shifts, unexpected messages, surprising encounters, open doors you didn't seek, invitations you didn't ask for, opportunities you didn't chase. When they appear, they will feel both sudden and strangely familiar, as though your spirit recognizes what your mind is only beginning to understand. These opportunities were always meant for you. They were simply waiting for the version of you who was healed enough, strong enough, discerning enough, and ready enough to receive them. Do not interpret the quiet as inactivity. Do not assume the lack of visible change means nothing is happening. Opportunity often moves silently before it arrives suddenly. And when these opportunities come, they will not feel random. They will feel orchestrated, aligned, and deeply connected to the prayers you whispered in vulnerable moments. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to rush anything. You do not need to worry about missing anything. What belongs to you cannot pass you by when I am the one aligning it. Hear me with the depth of someone who is about to step into a version of life they once didn't believe they could carry. I am preparing you to handle blessings that once intimidated you. There were seasons when you dreamed of more but secretly felt unworthy of it. Times when you prayed for doors to open but feared what would happen if they actually did. Moments when you desired elevation but questioned whether you had the strength, the wisdom, the confidence, or the stability to walk in the very things you asked for. You saw blessings as heavy, as demanding, as something reserved for others. But your perception was shaped by wounds, insecurities, and past disappointments, not by truth. And now I am reshaping your inner world so that you are not only ready for the blessings I am releasing, but capable of sustaining them. Blessings are not just gifts. They are responsibilities, territories, assignments. And what once intimidated you will soon feel natural, because I am enlarging your capacity. I am expanding your confidence. I am strengthening your identity. I am healing the parts of you that once sabotaged opportunities. I am refining your character so that what comes into your life does not overwhelm you. You will no longer see blessing and shrink. You will see blessing and rise. There were blessings you once avoided because you feared failure. Blessings you once resisted because you felt inadequate. Blessings you once postponed because you didn't trust your own readiness. But all this time, I have been preparing you, from the inside out, through challenges that built resilience, through delays that built patience, through trials that built wisdom, through healing that built emotional maturity. You are not who you were when you first prayed that prayer, and that is why the blessing that once intimidated you will now empower you. As these blessings arrive, you will feel alignment, not anxiety. You will feel purpose, not pressure. You will feel gratitude, not fear. And you will walk confidently into opportunities that would have once overwhelmed you. This time, you won't sabotage what I give you. You won't doubt your ability to hold it. You won't run from what is right in front of you. Because I am not just giving you blessings, I am giving you the capacity to sustain them. Listen to me, because the shift in your identity is already unfolding within you. You will walk in confidence where you once trembled. There were moments in your life where fear stole your voice, where insecurity weakened your steps, where doubt clouded your decisions. You walked carefully, hesitantly, apologetically, as if you were a guest in your own story, unsure if you had the right to take up space. You trembled in places where you were meant to stand tall. You hesitated in opportunities intended for your growth. You questioned yourself even when I had already affirmed you. But now I am transforming the very core of how you carry yourself. Confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is not loudness. Confidence is not pretending to be stronger than you are. True confidence is alignment. When your identity matches truth, when your steps match purpose, when your spirit matches the strength I placed inside you. And I am aligning you now. I am stripping away the insecurities that were never meant to define you. I am dismantling the lies that shaped how you saw yourself. I am silencing the inner critic that convinced you to hide when you were meant to shine. You will not tremble in the places that once overwhelmed you. You will occupy them with authority, not from ego, but from understanding who you are and whose voice guides you. You will walk into conversations with clarity instead of fear. You will make decisions with confidence instead of second-guessing. You will step into opportunities with readiness instead of timidity. And you will carry yourself with a steady inner strength that no circumstance, no critic, no past, and no insecurity can shake. This confidence will feel different from anything you've known. It will not be performance-based. It will be identity-based. It will not depend on validation. It will come from revelation. You will walk where you once hesitated. You will rise where you once shrank back. You will lead where you once followed. You will speak where you once stayed silent. This is not a small shift. It is a complete rewiring of how you move through life. Because I am not just calling you forward, I am equipping you to move with confidence that reflects the truth of who you are becoming. And when you look back on the places where you once trembled, you will see them as reminders, not of your weakness, but of how far you have risen. Listen to me with the part of you that has wrestled with uncertainty for far too long. You will feel my guidance more clearly than your fear. You have spent years navigating life with fear whispering in your ear. Fear of making the wrong decision. Fear of repeating old mistakes. Fear of stepping into the unknown. Fear of losing what matters. Fear of trusting the wrong people. Fear of walking into the future without absolute control. Fear has often been louder than your faith, louder than your hope, louder than your intuition, louder than the quiet tug in your spirit that tried to lead you forward. But now I am shifting the balance inside you. Fear will not be a dominant voice anymore. My guidance, steady, gentle, unmistakable, will rise above the noise and become the anchor your heart hath been longing for. My guidance will not shout. It will settle. It will not pressure. It will align. It will not confuse. It will clarify. You will feel it as peace, not panic. As clarity, not chaos. As direction, not doubt. You will find yourself saying, I don't know how I know, but I know. That knowing will be me, quiet, steady, unmistakable. You will no longer feel tormented by the heaviness of overthinking. The fear-based loops that once consumed your mind will begin to dissolve. You will no longer live paralyzed by what-ifs, because you will feel the this way rising within your spirit. Even when fear tries to rise, my guidance will rise higher. Even when anxiety tries to pull you backward, my direction will pull you forward. Even when old insecurities try to speak, my voice will interrupt them with reassurance. You will feel nudges, holy instincts, inner confirmations that feel like sudden clarity in places that once felt tangled. This is not illusion or coincidence. It is your spirit finally stepping into alignment with my leading. And when you walk with that alignment, fear loses its authority. You will notice decisions becoming easier, not because circumstances change instantly, but because you will no longer be guided by panic. You will no longer chase answers. You will feel led toward them. You will no longer cling to certainty. You will trust the direction I am giving you step by step. My guidance will feel like light in places where fear once built shadows. You will go where fear told you you couldn't. You will step into what fear told you wasn't for you. You will choose what fear told you to avoid. Because when my guidance becomes louder, fear becomes powerless. Hear me now, because this shift will protect your heart in ways you never imagined. I am strengthening your discernment so you clearly see what is me and what is not. You have walked through seasons where voices blended, your emotions, other people's expectations, your fears, your hopes, your wounds, and it became difficult to know which direction truly came from me. You questioned yourself. You second-guessed decisions. You confused prayer for purpose. You mistook guilt for conviction. You followed obligations instead of alignment. You believed well-meaning voices even when they contradicted the whisper I placed in your spirit. But now I am sharpening your discernment with precision and clarity so you can walk confidently without being swayed by noise. Discernment is not suspicion. It is not fear. It is not overthinking. Discernment is the spiritual ability to know, deeply, quietly, accurately, what aligns with your destiny and what is a distraction. It is the ability to recognize when something looks good but is not good for you. It is the ability to sense spiritual truth beneath surface appearances. It is the ability to feel the difference between peace and pressure, between my timing and your impatience, between my voice and the echoes of past wounds. And I am strengthening that ability within you now. You will begin to feel a separation. What once confused you will become clear. What once felt tangled will become distinct. You will see people's intentions more clearly. You will recognize opportunities that are traps in disguise. You will identify doors that look promising but are misaligned with your purpose. And just as importantly, you will recognize my hand in places you once overlooked. Subtle confirmations, gentle nudges, divine timing, and quiet shifts that reveal my involvement. Where your mind used to overanalyze, your spirit will discern. Where you used to depend on logic alone, you will depend on revelation. Where you once walked cautiously because you feared being wrong, you will walk confidently because you will sense truth with a depth you've never known before. Discernment will become your compass, guiding your relationships, your decisions, your boundaries, your opportunities, and your inner world with supernatural clarity. This is protection. This is alignment. This is maturity. And as discernment strengthens within you, deception loses its power. Confusion loses its grip. Manipulation loses its access. You will not walk blind, you will walk aware, empowered, and spiritually awake. Listen with the part of you that has been frustrated, discouraged, or discouraged by the timing of your life. You will no longer mistake delays for denials. You have lived through seasons where it felt like everything important was taking too long. Dreams delayed, answers delayed, opportunities delayed, healing delayed. You questioned yourself. You questioned your timing. You questioned whether I was listening. You even questioned whether you were worthy of what you prayed for. And in that questioning, delay became a wound rather than a spiritual tool. But hear me clearly. Delay has never meant denial. Delay has meant development. Delay has meant preparation. Delay has meant protection. Delay has meant alignment. You cannot receive something prematurely without it costing you more than it blesses you. And because I love you, because I protect you, because I see the future you cannot yet see, I withheld certain things until they could arrive without breaking you. I delayed opportunities until you had the emotional maturity to handle them. I delayed relationships until you healed enough not to sabotage them. I delayed breakthroughs until you developed the character to sustain them. I delayed blessings until your spirit was strong enough to steward them. Delay has always been mercy disguised as frustration. But now, your perspective is shifting. You will begin to feel gratitude for what didn't happen sooner. You will see why certain seasons needed more time. You will recognize why I aligned things slowly instead of suddenly. The disappointment you carried from delayed outcomes will transform into understanding, and then into trust. You will no longer fear delay. You will no longer resent it. You will no longer attach false meaning to it. Instead, you will see delay as a sign that something greater is being aligned, something more complete is being prepared, something more stable is being built. And because you understand this, your heart will rest instead of panic, your mind will trust instead of spiral, and your spirit will remain steady instead of shaken. You will no longer mistake delays for denials, because you will begin to see my timing not as withholding, but as perfect orchestration. And when what you've been waiting for finally arrives, you will know it didn't come late. It came right on time. Listen carefully, because this truth will shift the way your heart interprets every waiting season from this point forward. I am teaching you to trust my timing without resentment. You have trusted me before, but you carried frustration beneath your faith. Frustration that grew when days stretched into months, and months stretched into years. You believe it, yet you question. You hoped, yet you wondered if you misheard me. You prayed, yet you felt disappointed when timing didn't align with your expectations. And even though you never walked away from me, there were moments when your heart whispered, "Why is this taking so long?" Not in rebellion, but in weariness. I saw those moments. I felt your heaviness, and I did not judge you for them. Instead, I began to teach you a deeper, quieter kind of trust, the kind that rests even when answers seem delayed, the kind that stays soft instead of growing resentful, the kind that waits with expectation instead of fear. I am teaching you that timing is not a punishment, it is a protection. Timing is not me withholding, it is me preparing. Timing is not delay for delay's sake, it is alignment, aligning circumstances, aligning connections, aligning your development, aligning unseen factors that must fall into place so that when the blessing arrives, it arrives in fullness, not in fragments. Your heart has often viewed waiting through the lens of loss, lost time, lost opportunities, lost moments. But now you will begin to see waiting as gain. Gain wisdom, gain strength, gain capacity, gain clarity. In this season, you will notice your heart softening, your spirit relaxing, your mind releasing the tight grip it once held around timelines and expectations. Instead of feeling anxious over delays, you will begin to feel peace. Instead of feeling resentment toward waiting, you will begin to feel gratitude for preparation. Instead of fearing that what you want is slipping away, you will begin to trust that what is meant for you is becoming more complete. This transformation will happen subtly, one moment at a time. A day will come when something is delayed and you will feel no panic. Another day, something long awaited will still seem distant, yet you will not interpret it as disappointment. You will recognize my timing as intentional, thoughtful, and filled with love. And when your heart reaches this place, When resentment no longer shadows your waiting, you will experience my timing as a gift, not an obstacle. And when what you have been waiting for finally arrives, you will look back and realize the timing was not just right, it was perfect. Hear me with the deepest part of you, the part that is tired, the part that carries responsibilities no one sees, the part that feels stretched thin beneath the surface of your strength. I am lifting the weight of every burden you were never meant to carry. You have been holding too much for too long, carrying the weight of others' expectations, absorbing the emotional load of people who never reciprocated, bearing responsibilities beyond your capacity, worrying about outcomes you cannot control, and trying to fix things that were never assigned to you in the first place. You have done this quietly, faithfully, believing it was noble or necessary. But hear me now, not every burden is yours. Some burdens were placed on you by circumstance, some by other people's brokenness, some by your own sense of obligation, and some by wounds that convinced you had to be stronger than humanly possible. But I did not design you to live weighed down. I designed you to walk with me, light, unburdened, steady, and free. I am lifting these weights one by one. The burdens of worry that keep your mind racing at night, I am lifting them. The burden of perfectionism that makes you feel like failing is fatal, I am lifting it. The burden of being the strong one for everyone else while no one checks on you, I am lifting that too. The burden of guilt for resting, for slowing down, for needing help, I am removing it. The burden of fear that tells you if you stop holding everything together, everything will fall apart, I am breaking it off your life completely. As these burdens lift, you will notice a lightness in your spirit. Your chest will feel less tight. Your thoughts will begin to clear. Your emotions will no longer feel stretched beyond their limit. You will wake up with a sense of ease you forgot was possible. This lifting will not happen because circumstances suddenly vanish, but because I am removing the false responsibilities attached to them. You will begin to recognize what is yours to carry and what is mine. You will set boundaries without fear. You will say no without guilt. You will rest without internal punishment. You will breathe without heaviness pressing against your lungs. This lifting is not temporary. It is transformational. You are being freed from decades of emotional weight. You are being realigned with your original design. And once these burdens are lifted, you will walk with a freedom that feels unfamiliar at first but deeply right. Listen with the depth of a soul that has wondered, why does this keep happening to me? I am healing the patterns that have repeated through your life. Patterns of relationships that drain you. Patterns of self-doubt that sabotage opportunities. Patterns of fear that stop you right when you're close to breakthrough. Patterns of overgiving. Patterns of silence when you should speak. Patterns of settling for less than you deserve. Patterns of choosing what is familiar instead of what is healthy. Patterns of cycles that feel impossible to break, as if something keeps pulling you back into the same emotional loops. But hear me now, these patterns are losing their power over you. You may think these patterns are part of your personality or destiny, but they are not. They are wounds wearing the disguise of habits. They are learned survival strategies that were once necessary but now keep you bound. And I am not simply healing the symptoms, I am healing the root. I am going into the earliest places where certain beliefs formed. I am touching the origin of your insecurities. I am rewriting the inner narratives that shape your reactions. I am healing the emotional muscle memory that keeps pulling you toward familiar pain. This healing may feel uncomfortable at first because it will challenge the identity you built around these patterns. But as healing settles, you will notice decisions becoming easier, boundaries becoming natural, old temptations losing strength, familiar traps losing attraction. What once felt irresistible will now feel irrelevant. What once pulled you backward will now have no hold. You will not live your life repeating cycles your spirit was never meant to stay trapped in. You are stepping into a season of emotional and spiritual transformation so deep that the patterns that once defined your life will become stories you tell, not experiences you relive. You will not pass these patterns down. You will not return to them. You will not be shaped by them. You will be free, authentically, permanently, powerfully free. Listen to me with the depth of your spirit, because what I am about to reveal will help you understand some of the hardest endings of your life. I am closing the doors that were slowly destroying you. Not the doors you walked away from easily, but the ones that felt ripped from you. The ones whose closing left you confused, grieving, and questioning what went wrong. You thought some of those doors were blessings. You thought they were opportunities you needed, relationships you depended on, environments you believed you belonged in. But I saw something hidden from your eyes, beneath the surface. Those doors were draining you, damaging you, distracting you, delaying you, were slowly dismantling the parts of you I've been trying to heal. Some doors open beautifully, but end disastrously. Some doors feel comforting but quietly corrupt your peace. Some doors appear promising but carry the seeds of heartbreak. And because I love you too much to watch you crumble under the weight of what was never meant for your spirit, I close them. You mistook those closures for punishment, but they were protection. You interpreted them as rejection, but they were redirection. You thought you were losing something essential, but you were losing something harmful. I watched how those doors took from you, how they chipped at your worth, how they fed your insecurities, how they drained your joy, how they distorted your identity. I watched you keep trying, keep hoping, keep investing, even when the door was never built for your future. You were trying to survive in spaces that were shrinking you. And so I intervened, even when it hurt you, even when you didn't understand, even when you cried asking me, why did this end? But now, as this season shifts, clarity is coming. You will begin to see why those doors could not remain open. You will feel the peace you did have back then. You will realize that staying would have cost you far more than leaving ever did. You will understand that I did not shut them to take something from you, but to make room for something healthier, truer, stronger, and safer. And soon, you will thank me for the doors that did not open and the ones that closed abruptly, because those doors would have destroyed your spirit, your calling, your focus, or your future. Do not knock on them again. Do not grieve what I have protected you from. The closing was not the end. It was the beginning of something far better than what you begged to keep. Hear this with absolute clarity, because it reaches into the very core of your identity. I am breaking the power of every limiting belief you accepted as truth. You have lived much of your life seeing yourself through the distorted lens of old wounds, old failures, old voices, and old versions of yourself that no longer exist. You believed lies spoken in moments of pain. You internalized words that were never mine. You carried narratives that shaped how you acted, loved, trusted, and pursued your purpose. Somewhere along your journey, you accepted ceilings that were never meant to exist. You let fear tell you your limits. You let insecurity define your worth. You let doubt dictate your decisions. You let comparison shrink your confidence. And worst of all, you allowed the brokenness of others to shape the way you saw yourself. But hear me now, those beliefs are being shattered. Limiting beliefs are powerful traps because they disguise themselves as truth. They feel familiar. They feel logical. They feel safe. But familiarity is not truth. Logic is not destiny. Safety is not freedom. And I have been confronting these beliefs, not to shame you, but to free you. You will begin to hear yourself thinking differently. You will notice old fears losing their grip. You will recognize how many decisions you once made because you didn't believe you were capable of more. But now, you are stepping into identity, not insecurity. You are stepping into clarity, not confusion. You are stepping into truth, not assumption. I am breaking the belief that you are not enough. I am breaking the belief that you are always behind. I am breaking the belief that good things happen for others, but not for you. I am breaking the belief that you are destined for pain. I am breaking the belief that your worth is based on people's approval. I am breaking the belief that you will always struggle. I am breaking the belief that your voice doesn't matter. I am breaking every belief that has robbed you of your confidence, your joy, your boldness, and your destiny. As these beliefs break, new ones will rise, beliefs rooted in identity, purpose, strength, and truth. You will begin to see yourself as I see you. You will walk with a confidence that feels foreign at first but deeply right. You will speak differently, think differently, and choose differently, not because you are pretending to be strong but because you finally know you are. Listen with the full awareness of a heart that has fought to understand itself. I am establishing your identity in truth, not trauma. For so long, you have carried pieces of your past as if they were the definition of who you are. Trauma has left fingerprints on your perspective, shaping how you interpret love, trust, success, relationships, opportunities, and even me. You learned to protect yourself because you had to. You learned to expect disappointment because you experienced it repeatedly. You learned to shrink yourself to survive environments that were unsafe for your spirit. And somewhere in that survival, trauma became intertwined with identity. You began to think, this is just who I am. But hear me now with unwavering certainty. Who you became in survival is not who you are in destiny. Trauma taught you habits, not identity. Trauma taught you caution, not character. Trauma taught you defense, not design. Trauma taught you to be small, but I created you to stand tall. You are not the version of yourself that pain forced you to become. You are not the fear-based thinker your past shaped you into. You are not the insecure version of yourself that someone else's brokenness produced. You are not the timid one, the unworthy one, the unseen one, the overlooked one, the unloved one, the not enough one. Those are identities trauma tried to plant, but they are not identities I authored. I am restoring the truth of who you are, piece by piece, moment by moment, revelation by revelation. You will begin to feel yourself returning to your original design, confident, purposeful, worthy, loved, capable, chosen, and grounded. You will feel layers of old identity peeling away, layers of fear, shame, guilt, and self-protection. And as they fall off, truth will rise within you. You will feel lighter, cleared, more whole. You will make decisions that reflect truth instead of trauma. You will build relationships from healing instead of fear. You will walk into opportunities with confidence instead of hesitation. This is not a surface shift. It is a foundational one. I am not preparing you. I am revealing you. I am not restoring who you were. I am establishing who you truly are. And as this identity settles into your spirit, nothing will be able to shake it again. Listen closely, because what I am doing in your life right now reaches deeper than habit, deeper than struggle, deeper than anything you've tried to change in your own strength. I am breaking the cycles you thought you'd never escape. You know the ones. The emotional loops that repeat even when you promise yourself you're done. The relational patterns that pull you back into familiar pain. The mental spirals that try to convince you that nothing will ever change. These cycles have felt like chains wrapped around your progress, keeping you tethered to versions of yourself that no longer reflect who you are becoming. You've prayed for freedom. You've cried for transformation. You've blamed yourself for slipping back. You've wondered if something was wrong with you, if you lacked discipline, if you were too broken to heal. But hear me now. Cycles break not when you try harder, but when my presence goes deeper. I am going into the root of what has kept these patterns alive. The fear that made you cling to what felt familiar, the trauma that rewired your instincts, the lies that shaped how you saw yourself, the pain you never fully acknowledged, the unmet needs that you tried to soothe in unhealthy ways. These are not cycles of failure, they are cycles of survival. And because they were formed in pain, they must be broken in love. My love is not passive, it is powerful. My love is not soft, it is surgical. My love does not simply soothe symptoms, it destroys strongholds. And I am applying that love to the deepest places within you where cycles have lived for years. You will begin to notice subtle shifts first, your reactions changing, your desires realigning, your instincts calming, your boundaries strengthening. What once triggered you will lose intensity. What once tempted you will lose appeal. What once controlled you will lose its authority. These cycles will not break because you finally became strong enough. They will break because you finally surrendered enough for me to take you deeper into healing. And once they break, they will not return, because I am not just breaking patterns, I am breaking the spiritual ties that fed them. This is the kind of freedom you've prayed for but didn't know how to reach. This is the kind of breakthrough that shifts generations. You are walking out of cycles that your family lived in for decades. You are walking out of cycles that once felt like destiny. And as you step out, you will realize these cycles didn't end because you forced them. They ended because I delivered you. Hear me with the steadiness of someone whose world has shaken too many times. I am rebuilding your life on a foundation that cannot be shaken. You have lived through moments when the ground beneath you felt unstable. Relationships you depended on crumbled. Plans you trusted collapsed. Your sense of identity wavered. Your emotional strength faltered. Your future seemed uncertain. Life shook you, and sometimes you wondered if you would ever find stability again. You tried to rebuild with whatever pieces you had left, but every time you stacked your hope on something fragile, a new storm came and scattered it again. But hear me now, this rebuilding will be different. I am not placing you on the same ground that failed you. I am not using the broken foundation that once supported your fears, insecurities, or painful attachments. I am laying a new foundation inside you, one built on identity, truth, healing, and revelation. This foundation is not emotional, so emotions cannot destroy it. It is not circumstantial, so circumstances cannot shake it. It is not dependent on people, so people cannot steal it. It is spiritual, stable, deeply rooted, and designed to endure every storm your life may face. As I rebuild you, you will notice your reactions becoming steadier. The things that once overwhelmed you will no longer control you. The disappointments that used to break you will no longer define you. The opinions that once shaped your worth will lose their power. You will not crumble when life shifts, you will remain grounded. You will not spiral when plans change, you will stay aligned. You will not fear the unknown, you will trust the one who builds your steps. This rebuilding may feel slow at times, but it is intentional. I am not rushing the process, because right foundations crack under pressure. I am building you piece by piece, layer by layer, truth by truth. And when I finish, you will be unshakable, not because life becomes easier, but because your spirit becomes stronger. A life rebuilt on truth does not fall. A life rebuilt on healing does not collapse. A life rebuilt on identity does not weaken. A life rebuilt on my presence does not break. And you, my child, are being rebuilt into something steady, strong, and enduring. Listen to me with the expectation of someone who is about to see clearly after years of fog. I am giving you a new vision for your future. Not the vision shaped by your past failures. Not the vision limited by your old fears. Not the vision distorted by disappointment or clouded by self-doubt. For too long, your vision has been influenced by wounds, by survival, by scarcity, by the belief that maybe life will always be like this. You've had glimpses of hope, but something inside you hesitated to imagine too much, dream too boldly, or trust too deeply, because dreaming felt dangerous when life had taught you to brace for the worst. But that ends now. I am opening your eyes again. A new vision does not come from imagination, it comes from revelation. I am showing you possibilities you never considered. I am reawakening desires you buried. I am giving you clarity about the direction your life is meant to take. You will begin to feel ideas stirring inside you, ideas that feel too big to be yours. You will sense possibilities that contradict your past. You will see glimpses of a future that feels lighter, brighter, and more aligned with the truth of who you are. That is not fantasy. It is me restoring your sight. Your new vision will not be shaped by fear. It will not be shaped by trauma. It will not be shaped by the limits others placed on you. It will be shaped by purpose, your purpose. You will begin to understand why certain doors closed, why certain relationships shifted, why certain seasons ended. You will start to see how everything is connected, how nothing was wasted, and how every chapter was leading you here, to clarity, to direction, to destiny. This new vision will bring energy back into your life. It will reignite dreams. It will restore motivation. It will give you the courage to step boldly into a future you once feared. You will not walk into this future blindly. You will walk with understanding, intention, and confidence. Because I am not only giving you vision, I am giving you the wisdom to fulfill it. You are not stepping into the future you expected. You are stepping into the future you were created for. Listen to me with the openness of a heart that is finally ready for more. I am expanding your capacity to receive what you once pushed away. You have longed for blessings, for love, for opportunity, for peace. But when those very things came close, something inside you pulled back. Not because you didn't want them, but because deep within you live an old reflex, a quiet fear, a subconscious belief whispering, "You're not ready, you're not worthy, you can't handle this, something will go wrong." And so, even as you prayed for more, you unknowingly protected yourself from the very abundance you desired. You pushed away good things because past experiences taught you that anything good was temporary, anything beautiful came with a price, and anything promising might eventually break your heart. But hear me now. I am healing your capacity to receive. Receiving is not just about blessing. It is about belief. It is about believing you deserve to be loved without conditions. Believing you deserve to be supported without guilt. Believing you deserve to experience joy without fear. Believing you deserve opportunities without shrinking. Believing you deserve provision without apologizing. And believing that life can bless you without threatening your peace. I am stretching your heart, expanding your mind, and strengthening your spirit so that when blessings arrive, you do not sabotage them, fear them, or push them away. You will learn to hold what I give you with confidence, not hesitation. This expansion may feel uncomfortable at first. When new love enters, your instinct may be to distrust it, but you will feel my peace overriding your fear. When opportunities arrive, you may feel the old urge to back away, but courage will rise before doubt takes over. When joy returns, you may brace for disappointment, but you will realize there is nothing lurking in the shadows. When support comes, you may feel unworthy, but you will see this is my way of strengthening you, not burdening you. I am enlarging you from the inside so that you can receive without resistance. You will begin to feel more open, more welcoming, more capable of embracing the good that comes into your life. You will no longer push away blessings in the name of safety. You will no longer mistrust goodness because of past hurt. You will no longer shrink in the presence of opportunity. This expansion is not forced. It is divine alignment. And soon, you will step into blessings you once could not hold, not because they grew smaller, but because you grew larger. Hear me with the clarity of someone whose inner vision is being awakened. I am opening your eyes to see possibilities where you once saw limits. For too long, your mind has been trained to anticipate difficulty instead of opportunity, resistance instead of favor, obstacles instead of pathways. Not because you lacked faith, but because life taught you to brace yourself before daring to hope. Experience taught you to expect closed doors. Disappointment taught you to lower your expectations. And pain taught you to assume you would have to fight for every inch. But the season you are stepping into will not be built on struggle. It will be built on sight. And I'm giving you new eyes. These eyes will not be shaped by fear or scarcity. They will not be shaped by trauma or insecurity. They will not be shaped by what went wrong before. These eyes, this new vision I am giving you will allow you to see beyond the natural. You will start to notice pathways you overlooked, opportunities you once disqualified yourself from, and solutions that were hidden by your old mindset. Where you once only saw barriers, you will see creative ways through. Where you once saw lack, you will see potential. Where you once saw weakness, you will see strength. I am lifting the veil of limitation from your mind. Your thoughts will expand. Your creativity will revive. Your expectations will rise. You will stop asking, "Can I?" and start asking, "Why not me?" You will begin to walk with a quiet confidence that says, "There is a way, even if I don't see it yet." That confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment with the reality of what I am doing around you. As your eyes open, your world will expand. You will see connections you didn't realize were forming. You will feel potential where you once felt impossibility. You will recognize that limits were never the end. They were simply invitations to trust me for more. The life ahead of you is bigger than what you imagined while living under the weight of your past. And now that your vision is shifting, your possibilities will begin to unfold. This is not just about dreaming bigger. It is about seeing clearer. Because once you see what I see, you will finally understand. There were never limits, only perspectives that needed to be healed. Listen carefully, because this explains why your recent season felt heavier, more demanding, more stretching than you expected. I am preparing you for opportunities that will require a stronger, wiser you. These opportunities are not small. They are not ordinary. They are not random. They are significant, influential, and deeply connected to the purpose I placed in you long before anyone recognized your potential. But these opportunities require maturity of spirit, maturity of character, maturity of discipline, maturity of discernment. And so, I have been strengthening you through experiences that felt confusing in the moment but were essential for the future you are stepping into. You wondered why certain people left. You wondered why certain challenges pushed you further than you thought you could go. You wondered why certain prayers took time to manifest. You wondered why certain battles stretched your endurance. Each of these things was shaping you for what is coming. I was teaching you how to stand firm, so you would not bend under greater pressure. I was teaching you how to trust deeply, so you would not break when responsibility increased. I was teaching you how to discern accurately, so you would not be deceived by opportunities that look good but are not aligned. I was teaching you how to manage your emotions so you could lead with clarity. I was preparing you, quietly, thoroughly, purposefully. The opportunities ahead will not intimidate you because I have built a strength within you that will rise to meet them. You will handle responsibilities that once scared you. You will step into roles you once doubted you were capable of. You will navigate situations that once overwhelmed you. You will speak with authority you didn't know you carried. You will lead with wisdom you didn't know you possessed. Nothing you went through was wasted, not a single tear, not a single disappointment, not a single delay, not a single test. Every moment added to your strength. Every challenge added to your wisdom. Every setback refined your resilience. Every silent season sharpened your ears. You are more prepared than you realize. And when the opportunities arrive, you will not feel fear, you will feel recognition. You will say, "This is what I was being shaped for." Because I am not just preparing opportunities for you, I am preparing you for the opportunities. And when the moment comes, you will step into it not as the person you were, but as the person you have grown to become. Listen to me with the part of you that has been bruised, questioned, underestimated, or forgotten, because what I am doing within you now is deeper than encouragement, deeper than motivation, deeper than anything you've ever tried to accomplish on your own. I am rebuilding your confidence from the inside out. Not the kind of confidence that depends on compliments, achievements, or external validation. Not the kind of confidence that rises one day and collapses the next, but the kind that is rooted, anchored, and unshakable. You have carried insecurities that didn't start with you. Some were planted in childhood. Some were spoken over you by wounded people. Some were shaped by failures you took too personally, and some were formed during seasons where you felt unseen and unsupported. Little by little, those insecurities chipped at your confidence until you began to shrink in places where you were meant to stand tall. But hear me now, your shrinking season is over. I am rebuilding your confidence not by inflating your ego, but by restoring your identity. I'm reminding you of who you are beneath the layers of pain. I am lifting the weight of every insult, every dismissal, every rejection, every comparison that distorted the way you viewed yourself. I am touching the memories that made you feel small and neutralizing their power. I am silencing the inner critic that spoke with the voice of your past. And in its place, I am building a new voice within you, a voice rooted in truth, clarity, and strength. This rebuilt confidence will not rely on applause. It will not collapse when you face criticism. It will not depend on everything going right. It will not be fragile. It will be the kind of confidence that comes from knowing you were created with purpose, equipped with gifts, strengthened by growth, and guided by wisdom. You will find yourself stepping into situations that once intimidated you. You will express ideas you once kept silent. You will walk into rooms with authority instead of apology. You will move through life with the certainty of someone who knows they are becoming the strongest version of themselves. And this confidence will not make you arrogant. It will make you secure. It will not make you loud. It will make you steady. It will not make you better than others. It will make you better than your past self. Confidence is not about what surrounds you. It is about what is rising within you. And what I am building within you now cannot be shaken. Hear me with joy, because this is the part your heart has been longing to experience, but never felt allowed to embrace. I am teaching you to celebrate who you are becoming. Not to minimize yourself. Not to hide your growth. Not to dim your progress to make others comfortable. For too long, you've been so focused on fixing what's wrong, healing what hurts, and overcoming what was broken that you rarely stopped to admire the incredible resilience, strength, and transformation happening inside you. You judged yourself harshly. You rushed past victories. You downplayed your progress. You brushed off compliments. You believed that celebrating yourself was prideful, when in truth, it is gratitude. I am teaching you to pause, to breathe in your growth, to notice your evolution, to acknowledge the strength it took for you to become who you are now. You survived things that could have crushed you. You healed wounds that once defined you. You broke patterns that felt unbreakable. You walked away from what drained you. You learned to say no when you once said yes out of fear. You began to trust yourself again. These are victories worth celebrating, not someday, but now. Celebrating who you are becoming doesn't mean you think you're finished. It means you finally learned to honor your journey. It means you recognize that even though you are still growing, you are no longer who you used to be. It means you allow joy to touch the places where shame once lived. It means you let gratitude rise where self-criticism used to dominate. It means you finally understand that becoming is a process, and every step deserves recognition. You will begin to speak more kindly to yourself. You will notice your progress without dismissing it. You will be proud of the decisions you make. You will feel joy return in areas of your life where discouragement once lived. You will honor your healing journey, not rush through it. And instead of constantly focusing on what's next, you will learn to savor who you are becoming in each moment. This celebration is not arrogance. It is alignment with truth. It is acknowledgement of growth. It is acceptance of worth. And it is the evidence that your heart is finally living in the light rather than the shadows of condemnation. Listen deeply, because this touches the tenderest part of your heart. I am making room in your life for the joy you thought you lost. There was a time when joy flowed easily, when you laughed without overthinking, when you loved without fear, when your dreams felt reachable, when your days felt lighter, when you believed good things were possible for you. But life took some things from you, slowly, silently, painfully. Lust stole your laughter. Disappointment dulled your hope. Heartbreak closed off your joy. Responsibility dimmed your spark. And over time, you began to accept the idea that joy was something fleeting, fragile, or simply not meant for you anymore. But I am telling you now, your joy is not lost. It is being restored. Joy returns when space is made for it. And I am clearing that space now. I am removing the heaviness that sat in the center of your heart. I am healing the wounds that kept joy out. I am softening the areas where grief hardened you. I am calming the fears that insisted joy would only lead to disappointment. I am lifting the emotional clutter that kept your spirit crowded. And as this space empties, joy will begin to slip back in, not loudly or suddenly, but gently, unexpectedly, beautifully. You will notice it in small moments first, in a smile that feels genuine, in a laugh that surprises you, in a morning where you wake with lightness instead of dread, in evenings where you feel peace instead of pressure. These small moments are signals that joy is returning, not temporarily, but as a sustained presence in your life. You will stop waiting for the next bad thing. You will stop bracing your heart for emotional impact. You will stop believing joy is fragile. Instead, you will begin to believe that joy is your inheritance, not a momentary experience, but a way of living. I am not giving you back the joy you lost. I am giving you joy that is deeper, wiser, stronger, and more resilient than what you've known before. Joy that understands sorrow but is not shaped by it. Joy that can coexist with reality and still be bright. Joy that is rooted in healing, not circumstance. And as this joy fills the new space I'm creating in your life, you will finally feel whole again, not because everything is perfect, but because your heart is free. Hear me now. Hear me with the fullness of hope, because this message carries the weight of everything we have walked through together. I am preparing you for the life you once thought was out of reach. Not the life you settled for. Not the life you survived through. Not the life you endured. But the life you dreamed of quietly. The life you envisioned in your most honest prayers. The life you were afraid to say out loud because it felt too good, too big, too impossible. You once believed that kind of life wasn't for someone like you. Someone with your past, your wounds, your setbacks, your struggles. But hear me clearly, nothing about your past disqualifies you from your destiny. The life I am leading you into is not built on your perfection. It is built on your transformation. It is built on the strength you gained from your battles, the wisdom you gained from your mistakes, the compassion you gained from your pain, the clarity you gained from your healing. Everything you lived through was preparation for the life you once feared would never be yours. You will begin to notice alignment everywhere. Doors opening that were once sealed shut. Opportunities appearing you never imagined. Blessings unfolding in ways you didn't orchestrate. This life will not come through striving. It will come through becoming. You are not chasing a life. You are growing into one. Every healed wound, every restored dream, every strengthened boundary, every shift in perspective, every moment of trust has been shaping you into the person capable of carrying this life with grace, with confidence, and with joy. You once thought this life was distant. You once thought it was unrealistic. You once thought it was reserved for others. But you will see, everything that felt out of reach was never out of reach to me. It was simply reserved for the version of you who is emerging now. And when this life unfolds, and it will, you will not walk into it timidly. You will walk into it knowing, this is what I was being prepared for. This is what all the healing was leading toward. This is what my spirit always knew existed. This is the life I was created for. Amen.